audit for over a decade. Addressing ANC councillors in Soweto yesterday, party leader Cyril Ramaphosa says there is nothing wrong with taking lessons from the DA.
And there's nothing wrong with us saying we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder of being good at what we do. We cannot forever stay at the bottom. It hurts me deeply when I continue to see that our municipalities sometimes tend to move even backwards. And you are the people who can improve that.
We shift our focus to this now. The family of slain university student Lee Matthews has accused the Correctional Supervision and Parole Board of ignoring crucial information before making a recommendation in her killer's favour. Yesterday, the board recommended Donovan Moodley's release on parole. Moodley was convicted of 21-year-old Matthews' abduction and murder in 2004. He has been serving a life sentence since 2005. Khomotso Modise reports.
Donovan Moodley has been before the parole board multiple times over the last 20 years, but has not been successful in securing an early release. But yesterday, the board sat and made a recommendation for his release. Lee Matthews' father, Rob, has questioned this decision.
They only had a profile of Mr. Moodley for a year and a half for the time that he was at Yoko prison. They didn't have his profile for a period of some 18 and a half years, where there's a whole history of misdemeanors and...
Matthews claims over the years Moodley threatened his family and claimed they organized hits on him in prison. While the board has made a recommendation for Moodley's release, it must still be considered by the National Council for Correctional Services and ultimately the minister. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
To the Western Cape now, where Mobility MEC Isaac Sileko is expected to meet with both Carter and Codeta taxi associations today to try and end their deadly conflict. The meeting comes on the eve of the closure of taxi routes between Mfuleni, Khayelitsha, Lwandle and Somerset West for 30 days due to violence. Several taxi operators and commuters have been shot dead or injured in separate taxi-related attacks in the recent weeks. Carter Deputy Chairperson Mnigeli Mgope was the latest victim of the violence after he was shot and killed at the Nyanga taxi rank last week. On Friday, Sileko announced the taxi route closures to stabilize the situation and prevent further violence. Sileko says he is looking forward to today's meeting.
Ultimately, what we want to see is whatever arrangement or agreement has been agreed upon, government and association, that it must be penned down and everybody must commit to it. But we will continue with our processes of closing the routes. And when we see at least there is calm, there is dedication, there is commitment from affected parties, then we'll have to reconsider our decision.
He says measures have been put in place to help the thousands of commuters who will be affected by the route closures.
We've been in contact with PRASA, we've been in contact with GAPS. Of course, they've got their own concern in terms of risk, what might happen, but we are hopeful that with the number of police and law enforcement officers that will be deploying at these routes, making sure that we are able to guard some of the public transport that will be assisting our commuters.
And in Malawi, 7.2 million registered voters are expected to head to the polls today for a day of voting in 3 elections. Malawians will be casting their ballots in presidential, parliamentary and local elections. There are 17 names on the presidential ballot paper, but analysts say the race is between President Lazarus Chakwera and his predecessor Peter Mutharika. They have both campaigned with the promise of improving the economy, battered by a series of climate shocks. 2 seasons of drought and a devastating cyclone in 2023 have compounded hardships in a country where the World Bank says around 70% of the population lives in poverty. Gold is trading at $3,680.83 an ounce. The rand is at 17.36 to the dollar, 23.61 to the pound, 20.41 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays in Boksburg already along the N17 West. This is due to roadworks taking place right after Carnival City. Please be on the lookout there. More roadworks are taking place on the N3 South before Modderfontein Road. Do expect delays.
And in your sport, the Proteas women play Pakistan, the first of 3 ODIs from 12:30 this afternoon. Armand Duplantis breaks his own record for a 14th time, clearing 6.3 meters in the pole vault final at the World Athletics Champs. And a huge game in the Betway Premiership tonight with third on the table, Kaizer Chiefs hosting second on the table, Sekone.
A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Johannesburg starting at lows of 12 degrees, peaking at 29. Pretoria 14 and 33, and Vereniging 9 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The Patriotic Alliance has announced its Deputy President Kenny Kunene as the party's mayoral candidate for Johannesburg.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 6 o'clock. Any self-respecting Pentecostal minister at some point, as they preach, what will they say? Fire! What will they say? Fire! And what will people do? They will fall because the man is preaching fire! 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 Everybody always falls except the cameraman. The one who's filming the thing. The fire never gets to him. That's how I feel about the news cycle at the moment. I feel like there's an invisible Pentecostal church preacher in the news going, fire! What do you mean Kenny Kunene is the mayoral candidate for Johannesburg? John. You see what I mean? Fire! President Ramaphosa, in his capacity as the ANC president, says, yeah, actually the DA does do a better job running its municipalities. Say it with me. Fire! Fire! Do you see what I mean? Did you watch that so-called ANC roll call? On our menu today, we're looking at seizures in the Tembisa Hospital theft saga. Guys with Lamborghinis, Bentleys, I'm not going to say rand, multi-million-dollar homes. Those assets have been frozen. What do you say? Fire! Fire! Fire!
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10 minutes after 6 o'clock. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. I'm not alone, of course, always with a team of colleagues. And wherever you're listening to us from this morning, are you in Katlehong, Lenasia, Irene, Bupelong, Bronberg, Devon? It doesn't matter. We are here to give you everything you need to know in the news. I'm not alone, as I say. KG starting the clock behind the desk. Muteo Kharipe is here with business and so much more. Fire, Muteo! Fire!
Not falling over. Morning, bombs.
You're still standing. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. Amo Ramela is here with traffic news and so much more. Amo, fire! Hey, Amo.
Good morning, boss.
Little on the dramatic side, you might say we are this morning.
Very dramatic.
We've got producers Ropiwa and Siamtanda taking your calls. Cindy has everything you need to know in sport. And of course, Mbali Dlamini will give you the latest eyewitness news. So as I say, on our menu this morning, we're looking at these assets. One of the things I can't understand is people who acquire 4 Lamborghinis. Firstly, why? Why would you have 4 Lamborghinis and a Bentley? But these are some of the assets that have been frozen. But even beyond these individuals, what I want to understand is how somebody accumulates that kind of wealth, that kind of money, and spends it in broad daylight, and nobody asks questions about how they might have acquired it. Then we're going to look at Gauteng's school feeding crisis. Many learners, as you know, particularly those who go to no-fee paying schools, rely on the feeding schemes, sometimes as their only meal for the day. So now there's a whole saga with the Gauteng Department of Education where they awarded contracts, I think 49 of them, around this feeding scheme. So from procurement to the raw materials to who cooks it, who delivers it, etc., etc., etc. Some of the unsuccessful bidders are saying, hang on a minute, you gave contracts to companies that were not tax compliant. Some of them were not even registered. These were fly-by-nights. Certainly some of them are accused of being connected to the decision makers. This thing went all the way to court. And the Gauteng Department of Education was ordered to supply documents to show how they arrived at their choices. This was in May this year. Where are we? What month are we in?
September.
Somebody? Did they provide those documents? Despite a court order? Did they? Fire! Fire!
Man.
You see, we'll also look at South Africa's health system and what role artificial intelligence can play, particularly when it comes to cardiac disease. I think this is an absolutely fascinating one because although, of course, we know we have many unfilled posts in the healthcare system, but we don't have a lot of money to fill them. And perhaps there is a role for artificial intelligence, and I wonder if the future is going to be forced upon us because of a lack of resources and what that means for the healthcare system in general. That's a conversation we'll have a little after 8 o'clock. And then we'll explore the legacy of Madiba this Heritage Month by looking at Sanctuary Mandela. We're speaking to the CEO of the Mutsamai Tourism Group. All of that and more to come on 702 Breakfast. What do you say with me? Fire.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
So here's a shout out. And as you know, our tradition is to ask a question that doesn't seem all that related to the news, but it very much is. But we want to hear from you and your life and what's happening in your world. And that's our way of starting that kind of conversation. When was the last time, Amoramila, you looked at someone, listened to what they had to say and gone to yourself in your own head, maybe even aloud, oh, please. Oh, please.
You know, I want to talk about what we see in the news almost every day, especially when politicians go to informal settlements and they say no human rights, no South African human rights allows for people to live like this.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
Because you allow it. Because you allow it.
If it's there under your guard.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
Muteo?
It's often when somebody lies and you already know the truth that I'll say, oh, please. And they go on and on and on, you know. I mean, the president recently asking us as residents, why are young people not getting jobs? Why are the lights off? I mean, oh please, right?
My oh please moment came yesterday. And I'm going to play you some clips. You've already heard one or two in the news. The big roll call that the ANC was doing, invited all their councillors and basically giving them a dressing down. The election campaign has begun in earnest, my friends. If you didn't see that yesterday, then I look at you and I say, oh, please. Have a listen to this first one where the president admitted that some of the best run municipalities are not ANC-led, but are under the DA.
They are often DA-controlled municipalities. We need to ask ourselves, what is it that they are doing that is better than what we are doing? And there's nothing wrong with us saying we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder of being good at what we do. We cannot forever stay at the bottom.
He says some of the best run municipalities are DA-led municipalities. Do you look at that as, one newspaper suggested it might be panic ahead of the elections? Or do you look at that as some kind of panacea, a cure for the ANC's ills, an honest, somber reflection, right? Some introspection for a change. I mean, he was really, really brutal to those councillors, pointing out some of them can't even prepare financial statements.
I'm told by the Auditor General that a number of our financial statements are not even prepared at the council level. They are prepared outside. And even as they come back, they are often wrong. Now, what it means is that we do need to get capable people. Our country is not short of people who understand numbers. It's not short of people who understand accounting. Let us go and get people who understand accounting.
So if our country is not short of those people, clearly the ANC is. I mean, that's what he's saying. Let's go find them because clearly they're not here. They're not in the party. Do you listen to that and go, oh, please. Please, man. Please, man. He wasn't alone, by the way, in being that brutally honest. Listen to the ANC National Chairperson Gwede Mandashe criticizing the party's councillors. I mean, you've got to laugh at this.
Whoa, I know that we have a lot of singing councillors, but we have no councils. We all sing well, but capacity dololo. That is the council we are having. Comrades who are councillors, leaders of the ANC, who make noise when a meeting is underway. What kind of leadership is that?
They make noise because he's actually responding to the fact that even as he was addressing them, they continued talking as if he wasn't there. And he's annoyed. He says, guys, come on. You can sing, but you can't even run it. You are here because you can't even run your own councils. And I'm trying to talk to you, and even as I'm talking to you, you continue. Now, here's the thing. Even if you were to give the president the benefit of the doubt, even if you were to say he's being honest and this was brutal truths being spoken, isn't he talking about them as if he's just heard it for the first time? And let's look who's around him. How many people in cabinet have been tainted? Look at the ANC's top 7. What do we know of Mandashe himself? What do we know of Nomvula Makonyane herself? She who would be Madame President. Remember yesterday I was reminding you of when she had a terminal illness and couldn't appear before the Zonda Commission? She's the very picture of health now. What do we know about the Deputy President, Mashatile? So do you think those councillors who heard all of this yesterday were quaking in their boots because now retribution is coming? The fish rots from the head. And so all I want to know from you, when last did you say to anyone, oh, please? Because as I listen to all of that, I say, oh, please, Mr. President.
Starting that kind of conversation. When was the last time, Amorani, like we looked
Fire! Good morning, Bongani and the team. Great show as always. I'm Miguel from Davidson. Fire!
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Yeah, you got to just laugh sometimes. 20 after 6, Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
I want to know from you and 702 landers this morning, Bongani, if I borrow 10,000 Rand from you, and then in the coming months, I act like it never happened.
Oh, please.
What? What are you going
to
do?
Oh, please.
Are you going to remain silent? Are you going to get some cronies to come talk to me?
It's an unfair question in a sense because I would likely understand the circumstances that led you to ask for that money in the first place.
You're a very nice guy.
And I know you. And I would imagine you would do it on the pain of death in the first instance. So because I know you and because I know you wouldn't, unless something was so major, I'd probably even have grace. I'd probably come to you first and say, listen, I know we haven't resolved the reason why you did. Hang tight, it's cool. When you...
Are you one of those people that don't have to get paid back?
It depends by whom. Because I'm also one of those people who doesn't lend very easily.
Okay.
But if I can see you ducking and diving, oh, please.
If someone owes you?
I approached them. Please, we spoke.
Please.
Can I please have my money?
Please.
I really need it. And I'll even come with a story. You know, I've got this and that to pay, so I really am short of that money that you are withholding. So I'll approach you.
In a stern manner.
In a stern manner. I mean, I won't call out people to come and fetch you. I mean, with what money do I have to hire people? That's the very money I want from you in the first place.
Maybe people owe you favors. I'll tell you what.
702.
Weather.
A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng. Temperatures dropping overnight to lows of 12 degrees, but it'll peak at 29 in Joburg, 33 for Pretoria, 28 for Vereeniging. Cape Town, partly cloudy skies, light rain, a maximum of 13 degrees.
EWN Traffic.
Quick traffic update. Amo, good morning.
Good morning, Bongs. Well, we've got delays already in Eldorado Park on the N12 West. This is between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. This is due to a car stuck on the road. Please be on the lookout there. And there's also peak time delays reported on the N3 North between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Calling all golf pros. Hollywood Bets invites you to step onto the green. Tee up, take a swing, and enjoy glorious golf action from electrifying competitions and thrilling live tournaments. Get ready to conquer the fairway and chase epic fortunes. Ready to master the odds and experience your crowning moment? Bet now on all the excitement and prepare to make your hole-in-one shot to sensational success. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Naked people are totally zen. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin and more time meditating and balancing their chakras. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds, and it's all online, so that means no long phone calls. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start meditating like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah. Started out as a passion, and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion. Geared for you.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The Parks Tau issue, of course, he and the department scrapping the proposed credit reforms that were envisioned to help small businesses gain business credit on the market.
When it comes to SMEs, there is no such centralized repository of information that can be used by credit providers to assess the credit worthiness of a business.
Khulekani Mathe, the CEO designate of Business Unity South Africa.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud host of the Macro and Risk Management Conference 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. Of course, we're talking about the president's warnings to ANC councillors yesterday. Do you buy it? Do you think this is sincere? Or is it electioneering ahead of next year's local government elections beginning in earnest? 3 people have pleaded not guilty to charges of theft, housebreaking, conspiracy, and money laundering. This is, of course, from the Phala Phala game farm saga, the theft of $580,000. That's over 10 million rand. The trial opened in the Modimolle Regional Court, with the state prepared to call out 20 witnesses to support its case. Have you ever been gripped by fear or trauma so much it stopped doing from something you once took for granted? Well, you remember that Air India crash that killed 260 people. The sole survivor, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, is too traumatized to fly again. He has remained in India while his family returned to the UK. We'll get more details from Adam Gilchrist in The World View. Courtroom reality series Judge Judy, led by former Manhattan Family Court Judge Judith Sheindlin, debuted in the United States on this day in 1996. So, for the first time, it was, 29 years ago. Where's my arithmetic? 29 years ago, for the first time, you were able to watch Judge Judy.
702.
The newspapers.
Let's get into the major newspapers. Mbali Dlamini with us all week. Good morning.
Good morning, Bonks.
What's grabbing your attention in the papers?
I think as a mom of a 12-year-old, I'm always trying to find new ways to kind of be a better parent, for lack of a better term. I saw an article this morning on the
You're doing
South
fabulously
China.
so far.
Thank you,
Bonks.
Thank
you. You know I know that,
Thank
right?
you.
Okay.
An article on the South China Morning Post speaks about how Hong Kong is looking at new ways and guidelines to limit screen time based on conversations with health professionals and professors from across the globe. And what they're looking at is that Hong Kong has the highest incidence of myopia, which is nearsightedness in children. And that's where the biggest concern was
because
actually found.
their eyes are in front of screens
They're
too
literally
close.
sitting in front of screens. It's too close.
Jeepers.
And when I try to do some research on South African guidelines when it comes to screen time, none really exists. So we kind of base it on international standards, the World Health Organization and recommendations. So for me, I still don't know how much screen time is too much screen time. Do you allow your child to just sit in front of the screen so that they don't bother you? Are you a better parent if they don't have a screen at all? But yeah, it's an interesting read that is on the South China Morning Post.
Gosh, so people, because technology moves so quickly, I always make the point that in 2010, when we hosted the Rugby World Cup, tablets were not a thing. Nobody had a tablet in their hands. The iPad only came out later that year. And I remember my then 2 or 3 year old playing with mine. And I thought, yes, because this is the way of technology. This is the way of the future. And I think for many parents, that's how it starts, right? And years later, we regret it, don't we? I'm looking at a deep dive by the Business Day into what the president had to say. And the question they are asking is, with so many ministers and officials splurging on overseas trips amid constrained public finances, how does the president say what he had to say yesterday? They talk about Paul Mashatile spending 8 million rand on official trips for him and his spouse since taking office last year. You remember, of course, the Social Development Deputy Director General Sizakele Mangangwe splashing out more than 1 million rand on that trip to New York. The Social Development Minister, Sisi Tolashe, also traveling to New York. Remember all of those officials at that women's summit. And then what did? They suspended Lunga Oliphant, the spokesperson. I'm not a great fan of hers, but my goodness me, have they treated her badly as far as this is concerned. Tolashe is also now alleged to have appointed as her chief of staff a 22-year-old connected to a senior official in her department who earns 1.4 million rand a year. Dada Morero in Johannesburg, the mayor, has appointed as an MMC a person who was convicted of a crime and who's being accused of being a construction mafia don. This is a guy whose organization tried to stop the refurbishment of a primary school in Vlakfontein where he hails from. So when the president gets up there and says things are going to change, who believes him?
EWN Business
News. Now, Muteo, you're saying, how do you make sure somebody pays you back what they owe you? Do you call them constantly? Do you wait until they pay you, whenever that might be? Do you threaten them with the law? Or your mean-looking brother or friend somewhere from West Africa? What prompts the question?
Sounds like you have some up your sleeve, Bongani. But anyway, South Africa's public offices and businesses are raking up a big debt bill at the Auditor General. The state auditor provides independent assurance and audit services to public sector offices and companies, but despite providing these services without fail, the Auditor General is still owed 1.8 billion rand. Now, the AG has gone and roped in South African Treasury to try and recoup what's owed to them. The SA Treasury says it will start being tougher to force the payments. In response to the growing arrears, a National Treasury has invoked Section 216 of the Constitution, which authorizes the withholding of funds from organs of state that breach financial management legislation. Now, Treasury has once used this provision before in December of 2024 when it issued warning letters to 257 municipalities, resulting in the recovery of 460 million rand. Now, municipalities owe the AG some 437 million, with 644 million owed
by state-owned enterprises. Some of the top defaulters include Denel, which owes 82 million rand, the SA Post Office owing 63 million rand, while the defunct Mango Airlines and SA Express, among others, still owing the AG. Several of the entities are now in business rescue or liquidation, complicating recovery efforts and prompting consideration of write-offs of those particular debts. There is worry in Parliament, though, that the budget allocations, if they are held back, could affect service delivery in the country. So what do you do? Do you hold back the funds so people can pay, or do you give them the budget allocations and let them handle the services?
Fire. That's what I can say. Fire. Where's the rand? Is it on fire?
It's on fire. 17 Rand 35 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 42 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 62 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up at $3,682 an ounce, or platinum at $1,402. Brent crude at $67.57 a barrel, or business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go now. Mbali Dlamini, what do you have at this hour?
Well, Bongani, good morning. There are growing calls to review a policy framework that stipulates that university students who form part of the missing middle can only apply for NSFAS loans and not bursaries. The students in question do not meet the threshold for bursary applications, but also cannot afford to self-fund their tuition. Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela says there is increasing pressure to allow these students to qualify for bursaries. He was speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria yesterday on the state of readiness for the 2026 academic year. Jabuli Lembata has more.
Students who qualify for a bursary must have a combined household income of less than 350,000 rand per annum before deductions, while those applying for loans have an income of over 350,000 rand and below 600,000 rand per year. However, each year, students raise that those who are part of the missing middle also want to be able to get bursaries. Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela says there are discussions to see how that can be made possible. He's added that the money paid back from loans is needed to help raise funds for future applicants.
So that's a discussion that we, together with Treasury and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, will be leading. But we also think it's a discussion that must happen broadly in society. How sustainable is this student funding model?
He added that at present, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme is facing a funding crisis. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
In the courts now, a 26-year-old suspect linked to a double murder in Wallisdean and Kraaifontein, Cape Town, is expected to appear in the Blue Downs Magistrates Court today. The suspect is linked to the killings of two people who were shot dead in the area in the early hours of Sunday morning. Police spokesperson Novella Botelwa says they're also investigating another shooting which left 3 men dead, 1 injured and 1 woman raped.
The suspect was taken in for questioning by serious violent crime detectives on Sunday evening and has since been charged with murder.
To this now, the DA in KZN has urged political parties in the province to take a stance against political violence in the lead up to next year's elections. KZN has a history of political intolerance and violence, which has claimed the lives of politicians as well as traditional leaders. The party lost its Umgeni local municipality chief, Ntalayenza Ndlovu, through political violence in 2023. DA KZN leader Francois Rogers says parties must fight to ensure next year's elections are without incident.
We need to be bold, we need to be brave. We no longer have a party that's supremely dominant in the province, and therefore all role players, particularly in the government of provincial unity, need to play an active role in circumventing any potential violence running up to the election.
And in Zambia, 2 men have been sentenced to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hakainde Hichilema. They have been convicted under the Witchcraft Act after being arrested in December. They were caught with charms in their possession, including a live chameleon. This was the first time anyone was put on trial in Zambia for attempting to use witchcraft against the president. During the case, the prosecution argued that the men were hired by a fugitive former MP to bewitch Hichilema. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today, lows of between 9 and 14 degrees and highs of between 28 and 33.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N17 West. This is between Carnival City and Rondebolt Road. There's also queuing traffic already on the N1 South between the Brakfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road.
A top story in EWN this hour. There are growing calls to review a policy framework that stipulates that university students who form part of the missing middle can only apply for NSFAS loans and not any bursaries.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I'm Nathan Ilunga. I'm Congolese, and one thing I love about 702 is the open line on Clement Manachela show and the healing hour. Overall, what I like most about the station is the different topic they cover. They broaden your mind and push you to think. They help you to become a critical thinker. So that's why I listen to 702.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
It's time to eat, dance and celebrate. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lottostar, is serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment from international acts to SA's finest artists, alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Browse fashion and art, take part in live cooking demos, and soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. Saturday, 20 September, you and your crew. Sunday, 21 September, family picnic vibes. DSTV is turning 30 and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
This September, Joburg Theatre brings you a powerful mix of drama, music and dance. Dancing the Death Drill, adapted from Fred Khumalo's acclaimed novel, tells the tale of Pito Mutaung, a South African soldier forever changed by the tragic sinking of the SS Mendi. The cast features Kwenzo Ngobo, Tuli Tabete and Clint Brink, with choreography by Luyanda Sidia and original music by Msaki. This is a story of love, loss and remembrance. Catch it from 9 to 28 September 2025 on the Mandela stage at Joburg Theatre. Dancing the Death Drill, a moment in history brought to life. Book now at joburgtheatre.com.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without My Way's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality and sustainability, with Africa at the center. So tune in to the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get all the latest developments, news, views, insights and breakthroughs from the summit as it happens. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
My oh please moment is when fat cat politicians walk around amongst poor people talking about our people this, our people that, and then driving these huge Mercedes, plundering, stealing, sending their kids to private schools, sending their families to private hospitals. But they seem to think that our people is a thing that needs to be said. It's not our people to those politicians, it's just those people.
Morning 702 land, morning Bongos. I just wanted to find out, is
get some cronies to come
Ramaphosa still president?
Because
oh please,
I would likely understand the circumstances that led you to
in
the first place. It's very nice.
Hayi fire man Bongani. Fire kuwe kuseni. Hayi wazi mara uyazi unenye inspiration ngesikhathi ekuseni. Fire Bongani man. Fire kuwe man. Fire ustoned.
Good morning Bongani and team. What I'm just listening to from the president is that he's just given the vote to the DA. I hope all the listeners, all 702 lenders are listening. Go vote DA. You know they do the right thing. Cheers.
Yeah, I mean, look, The whole point of politics is you go to voters and you say, right, I am so-and-so from party XYZ. These are my ideas. This is what I will do to make your life better. Look at my manifesto. These are my policies. These are my principles. And hopefully you've even got a track record. You can go to voters and say, look what I've done for Amo. Hey, these are my ideas. Cindy, do they resonate with you? And go speak to Amo. And 5 years later, you go back and you say, you see, Cindy, I did do what I said I would do, right? Now, when you go to voters and you say, yeah, actually, the other guy's better, hey? Because that's what the president said yesterday. He said, look, I'm being honest. And because honesty is so rare in South African politicians, there's a teensy-weensy little bit that wants to say, well, I mean, he's doing something that very few others would. But on the other hand, Nigel, he's talking as if this is a new thing, a new revelation, right? When he talks about, I played that clip earlier where he says, some of these councillors can't prepare financial statements. They get outsiders to prepare them. And even when they submit them, they're still wrong because neither them or the outsiders could figure it out. And then he says, but we've got enough accountants in this country, enough people who know these numbers. Let's go find them. Which means they're not in the RNC, are they? They're not.
EWN Sport.
Cindy, must be rather like when people are unfair to sports people, to coaches, talking as if they know exactly what to do. That makes you go, oh, please.
I mean, just yesterday we were talking about how the whole of New Zealand is declared like a state of mourning, basically, because their team lost. Like,
one game.
Guys. No, I mean, it was a lot and their biggest loss in history, but the week before that, you were fine.
Remember when we lost, I think, was 70-odd something against the All Blacks? I mean,
we lost 53 or 57-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was our margin was even higher.
And guess what? We came back.
We didn't die.
Interestingly enough, I mean, I know it's kind of on the same thought pattern topic, etc. I drove a car that kept leaving me on the side of the road, and it wasn't an old car. It was like a modern car.
Yeah.
And I was very irritated, and I kept going into the dealership because it kept overheating and the radiator cap kept coming off. And I remember standing in the dealership the one day, and there was this family looking at the car, like a new car of my car. I don't want to give the brand on air.
Yeah.
And I said, who are you buying this car for? And they said, no, our daughter. I said, do you like her to be left on the side of the road? And the salesman looked at me. Then he said, okay, let's just go into my office. And then he took out a pamphlet of a competing car, a completely different brand. And he slid it across the table and he said, I think this is the car for you.
What did you do with the car?
I sold it and got the car that he said I should get, which was a VW.
And you lived happily ever after.
I never got left on the side of the road again. But that's exactly it. It's like saying the other guy is better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. What do you want? I mean,
and it's that story stuck with me because that sales guy in that moment selling his very expensive, also German brand engineering car, took out another competitor from his drawer and said the other guy's better.
The other guy's better. And you want the voters to come back and vote for you?
And I've never bought that brand since.
Yeah.
Right. Proteas women take on Pakistan in their own brand of cricket in the first ODI today as preparation for this month's World Cup. Captain Laura Wolfart.
Yeah, this series is super crucial for us. Obviously, heading into that World Cup, getting to be in the subcontinent before is a massive opportunity. I think getting used to conditions, getting used to how hot it is. Obviously, coming from winter at home, it's been a bit of an adjustment. And just to play cricket together again as a group. I think we've last played together like maybe 5-6 weeks ago. So just to get some momentum leading into a big tournament like that will be huge.
At the World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Armand Duplantis soared to greater heights in the pole vault final, clearing a world record 6.30 meters. That's his 14th world record and his third consecutive world title.
This is like very much extra special for me and everybody, I would say. And of course, it's going to make the biggest splash, I would imagine, too, is whenever you're able to do it, because this is our most important competition of the year. If it was Olympics last year, that's by far our most important competitions.
Huge game in the Betway Premiership tonight. Third on the table, Kaizer Chiefs hosting second on the table, Sekhukhune. Both teams are on 13 points, one behind the league leader Sundown, so a win will put either of them top. Chiefs defender Zita Kwanika believes the 2-week break for international window has actually been beneficial.
It's a blessing because we had to prepare even better. From the other games, there was not enough training and preparing because it's like game after game. Now I think the coaches had 2 weeks to be able to do certain things properly, which which will probably help us going forward. So I think it came at the right time, unlike playing Skukune when you just played 2 days back. Everyone is focused, everyone is recovered, prepared, and good to go.
UEFA Champions League 6 games tonight. The early kick-off Arsenal away at Athletic Club. In golf, Hayden Porteous produced one of her great comebacks and ended his drought playing on an invitation when he won the Vodacom Origins of Golf. That's his first Sunshine Tour title since 2016. Porteous claimed a one-shot win on 7 under following rounds of 66 and 69. The tournament was rain reduced to 2 rounds. South African Alan Hartley defended his title at the UCI Mountain Bike World Champs in Switzerland. He finished 48 seconds ahead of his closest rival, Italy's Simone Avondento. And in Davis Cup tennis, South Africa losing to Morocco 4-1 in their World Group 2 tie. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
We're going to make insurance great again. We're going to build a wall around high premiums. A big wall. The best wall. And guess what? You're not paying for it. We're going to grab poor service by the policy. It's going to be tremendous. Believe me.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision, people are saying, ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday, 10 to 9. We're speaking to Tracker. Their CEO, Dylan Fernando, will be with us. We highlight companies and brands dedicated to building the country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
From the sands of our land, it all begins. A journey that turns raw potential into something extraordinary. Our strength isn't just in what we create, it's in the lives we transform along the way. Our craft, our heritage, in our hands. Asante Glass. Excellence in glass.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz
On 702.
Hi, Uncle Bongani. My name is Blessing Stray. I am 10 years old. I go to law school craft, and when I grow up, I want to be a businesswoman or a teacher. I'm very excited and also nervous to play the Whiz Quiz. Thank you.
Oh, you sound delightful though, don't you? Blessing, good luck to you.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we still have got delays on the N12 East. This is now as you leave El Dorado Park. It's due to those delays that are taking place between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. And if you continue making your way towards Meadale via the Golden Highway, do expect delays due to the long-term roadworks that are taking place along this route between Union Avenue and the N12 exit. Traveling on the M2, we've got some delays reported as you approach the Heidelberg Road exit. An accident is reported there. It's right on the Heidelberg Road ramp, and it's slowing down traffic, and there's also queuing traffic in Boksburg, bumper-to-bumper traffic, in fact, along the N17 West between Carnival City and Rondebult Road, and that's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight.
5 mils of sugar.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Mzansi, 133 million rand in total guaranteed Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots could change your life. That's right. Play Powerball for a guaranteed 70 million rand and Powerball Plus for a guaranteed 63 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store, online at nationallottery.co.za, on the mobile app, via cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Push-Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Whenever you hear deep in the heart and art of jazz, think Sia Makuzeni with the big band, Jasmine Horn, Alun Wad, The Baylor Project, Jose James sings Badu, Umusangare, Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Dugiocello, Elaine, Tezo, Munei, Mondli Ngobo, and many other spectacular icons. Think Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival. 4 stages at the Sandton Convention Center, 26th, 27th, and 28th September. And take me there. Book via Ticketmaster.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
This master doesn't just start. It wakes up. Anticipation. The wheel settles into your hands. Seat and mirrors adjust. You didn't ask. It just knew. Then the 3.3-liter turbo diesel clears its throat. And suddenly, you're flying, weaving through sunlight. Goosebumps on your commute. The feeling will find you in the Mazda CX-60. Wonder awaits.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some money, shall we? Today we're playing with 10-year-old Blessing, who wants to be a teacher or a businesswoman later on in life. Blessing, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right, here we go. KG, let's start the clock. What is 1/2 of 110?
10.
55. Spell the word picture.
Picture.
Correct. True or false? The camel is nicknamed the train of the desert.
True.
It's false. What sport does Makazole Mapimpi play for South Africa? Rugby, or does he swim for South Africa?
Swim.
Rugby. The fairy tale couple is Cinderella and Prince who?
Charming.
Correct. In which province is the town Potchefstroom? Is it in Western Cape or is it in Zimbabwe?
Western Cape.
It is in the western, it is in the northwest. In fact, it's in the Western Cape. So that's my mistake. We'll give you that point. True or false? The blue and red parts of our flags are run out of time. We'll run out of time. I'll give you that 1 point. I phrased the question incorrectly. And that means, Blessing, you will walk away with 300 Rand. 300 Rand, 3 correct answers, 3 points. I do apologize for that one.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? 3,000 Rand is up for grabs. All you need to do is send an answer based on something you heard on the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. You WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702, and then someone will ask a question to get your answer a little later to win 2,000 Rand. So you simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So SMS out to 45142 and you could save on your car insurance.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
All right. 5 minutes to 7, onto this story now. Luxury homes, 4 Lamborghinis, a Bentley, and even a yacht, all frozen by the state. The National Prosecuting Authority's Asset Forfeiture Unit has seized 325 million rand in assets linked to a businessman, Hangwani Maumela, accused of siphoning funds from Tembisa Hospital. You remember, of course, this was part of what the whistleblower Babita Diokoran warned about, a warning that cost her life. What does all of this mean? We're joined now by Corruption Watch's Nkululeko Khonco on the line. Appreciate your time and welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
It's Nkululeko Khonco, I beg your pardon, I said that incorrectly. Do I have it right now?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Apologies for that. Thank you for talking to us. Firstly, one of the things that I want to try and understand, I mean, the assets that are being spoken about here are absolutely astonishing. A sprawling mansion in Bantry Bay, some properties in Sandton. One is worth 71 million rand, the other 69 million rand. We've got others in Three Anchor Bay, in Cape Town, in Harties, a villa in Zimbali, a Lamborghini, a Bentley. Those are not things the everyday average person can acquire without one noticing.
Definitely very far from it.
So how do people acquire assets like this and no one knows?
Your guess is as good as mine, Bongani, as to how exactly people go about acquiring such assets without it being somewhat alarming, except to say that it's probably under the cover of appearing to be successful business people. And that's the way that they go about it.
So the NPA has frozen these assets. Perhaps explain to us, what is a preservation order and what powers does it give the state over these assets?
Okay. So preservation orders are usually granted in matters where there is already a criminal matter that is being investigated, or that's being prosecuted rather, and the state is afraid or has a apprehension that the assets will be disposed of before the conclusion of the matter. So what the NPA then does is it applies for an order to preserve or freeze those assets, and therefore be able to recoup those funds or that money at a later stage. And what they need to show is that there is certainly a case for the accused to answer for, so a prima facie case. And then that will help a lot with ensuring that there is something that the state can hold on to, and that there won't be a Pyrrhic victory in a sense once the matter is concluded.
So as I understand it, so for example, in the case of vehicles, they might take those from you and they will hold them until the matter is concluded. With immovable property, for example, you're not allowed to sell that property, but you don't necessarily need to vacate it. That's all very different from forfeiture, where you lose all of them permanently.
Yes.
All right. We are also seeing very, how shall I put it, connected people often accused in these cases. But when it comes to, and it goes back to my earlier question about the acquisition of such assets in broad daylight, how effective is legislation like the Prevention of Organized Crime Act or even the Public Finance Management Act in preventing corruption at this scale?
I think one of the issues that we've noticed is that we have the laws. They might be imperfect laws, but they are there. And the real issue is the failure to implement those laws, and the fact that people are fearful of actually going through the right processes. So if we take the example of Ms. Dearkaran's noting of the issue and alerting the authorities, and the result that played out being her being assassinated, one can see that it is more difficult for people to actually ensure that there's adherence to the law because they're fearful for themselves. And it also takes longer to realize the trend or pattern, especially if you're on the outside of an entity. So we need more people who are within particular entities, at least government entities, to be able to say, this is not happening according to the law, and these are the issues that we're noting, and flagging those for investigation. So we need an actual value chain where these issues are being addressed. And at the moment, we don't see that. We'll have one or two individuals noting their concerns, and then very little is done about it in most times. And that goes back to the fact that the individuals who are corrupt are connected both internally within departments or the state machinery, as well as those who are service providers.
All right.
So what we need is better adherence to the applicable laws, and certainly implementation of transparency measures so that it becomes more evident much sooner that something is amiss, and that reporting is empowered and encouraged so that we can actually root out corruption at all levels.
All right, Nkululeko Konko there from Corruption Watch. And let's not forget, these billions that were stolen from these hospitals were very consequential. There are people who've lost their lives. I'll remind you of the cancer patients who still haven't received the treatments they needed because at times the money isn't there. That's where it goes.
702. Coming up, the big interview.
Big interview focuses on a pause on Gauteng's school nutrition program tied up in court challenges. Were some of the successful bidders ineligible?
This is EWN.
Kachalia defends top secret classification of Phala Phala report, and SASSA puts measures in place to fight corruption. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has defended the top secret classification of a report into the conduct of police officers involved in an operation to get back thousands of US dollars stolen from the president's Phala Phala farm. Yesterday, the trial of 3 suspects accused of housebreaking appeared in the Modimolle Regional Court for the start of their trial more than 5 years since the incident. In a reply to a parliamentary question from Action SA, Kachalia says to make the police report public would disrupt operational planning. In an answer to another question from the ATM, Kachalia has revealed that the head of the President's Protection Unit, Wally Rueda, has been found not guilty for pursuing suspects without an official police case having been registered. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Action SA and the ATM are among political parties who are demanding to know why Major General Wally Rueda is off the hook on misconduct charges, when in 2023 the Public Protector found evidence that he had breached the SAPS's disciplinary regulations and should face a hearing. In an explanation to Parliament, the Police Minister says he's satisfied the classification of the Phala Phala report meets the minimum information security standards. He says the report has the propensity to damage operational relations between institutions. But the ATM's Vuyo Zungula says his party will challenge what it views as the failure to discipline Rueda as per the Public Protector's recommendations.
It is a deliberate effort by the ANC government to try and destroy most of these institutions that can actually hold them accountable and institute criminal proceedings against them.
Action SA, meanwhile, has threatened legal action if the police rejects its application to release the report. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Social Development Minister Sisi Tolashe says she is confident in the fraud and corruption prevention systems of the South African Social Security Agency. The agency has added several security measures to ensure that all rightful beneficiaries receive their financial grants. Tolashe says recipients need to enroll on the biometric system, which form part of the flagship initiatives. Ntokozo Khumalo has more.
Earlier this year, SASSA was under fire over a chaotic grants verification process which left many frustrated. The agency has attempted to implement security measures to prevent any fraudulent activities. This follows a discovery made by 2 Stellenbosch students who had taken note of major vulnerabilities in the system. Meanwhile, Minister Sisi Tolashe says she is aware of the agency's tainted image, but they are working on addressing the myriad of issues. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
While the ANC controls a majority of municipalities across the country, it has acknowledged that some of the best-run ones are governed by the DA. The DA-run Cape Town municipality has been consistently praised by the Auditor General for being the only metro with 3 consecutive clean audits. In contrast, the ANC-led Maluti Apofong municipality is considered one of the worst run in the country, having failed to receive a clean audit for over a decade. Addressing ANC councillors in Soweto yesterday, party leader Cyril Ramaphosa says there is nothing wrong with taking lessons from the DA.
And there's nothing wrong with us saying we want to go and see what Cape Town is doing. We want to go and see what Stellenbosch is doing. How do they craft everything? We need to be moving up the ladder of being good at what we do. We cannot forever stay at the bottom. It hurts me deeply when I continue to see that our municipalities sometimes tend to move even backwards. And you are the people who can improve that.
Staying with politics, 1 month after being sworn in as Johannesburg councillor, the Patriotic Alliance has announced Leon Jacobs will resign from that position and become the party's new mayoral candidate for Cape Town. The PA's previous candidate for the metro has now been promoted to the party's National Executive Committee. The announcements were made by party leader Gayton McKenzie last night during his regular Facebook Live briefing. McKenzie also announced Jacobs has been appointed as the party's national youth leader.
We are removing Liam Jacobs out of council because I think they're intimidated and they want him to be an honorary councillor, but we know there's some D guys that's intimidated by him. We're not going to let such talent sit there while we can use it elsewhere.
And in the U.S., President Donald Trump has confirmed the military has destroyed an alleged Venezuelan drug vessel on its way to the USA. Trump says the vessel was traveling in international waters when the attack was ordered. 3 men were killed in the attack with no evidence provided yet that the boat was indeed carrying drugs. Tensions between the two countries escalated after the U.S. deployed warships to the southern Caribbean on what officials said were counter-narcotics operations. In an initial strike on September the 2nd, Trump said 11 people were killed on another boat allegedly used by drug traffickers. Trump insists there's proof that the men killed last night were moving drugs.
We have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was like it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place. And it was, plus we have recorded evidence that they were leaving. We've recorded them. It's very careful because we know you people would be after us. We're very careful.
Gold is trading at $3,680.84 an ounce. The rand is at 17.36 to the dollar, 23.62 to the pound, 20.41 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Eldorado Park along the N12 East. This is between the Klipspruit Valley Road exit and the Golden Highway due to a car stuck on the road between these 2 points. And if you are traveling on the N12 as well as the R24 West, expect delays between Barbara Road and the Gilulis interchange.
And in your sport, huge Premiership clash tonight with Chiefs hosting Sekhukhune. The UEFA Champions League season opens. Arsenal against Athletic Club in the early kickoff. Proteas women are playing Pakistan in a first ODI starting at 12:30. And Armand Duplantis breaks his own world record for a 14th time, clearing 6.3 meters in the pole vault final at the World Athletics Champs.
A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Joburg starting at lows of 12 degrees, peaking at 29. Pretoria 14 and 33, and Vereniging 9 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has defended the top secret classification of a report into the conduct of officers involved in an operation to get back thousands of US dollars stolen from the president's Palapala farm.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock, there you have it. Police Minister Feroz Kachalia saying he's not going to declassify the report into the conduct of police officers involved in trying to get back the stolen Palapala US dollars. He says doing so would disrupt operational planning. What's your perspective on that? Oh, please? Listen to his boss yesterday speaking at the FNB Stadium in Soweto at that roll call meeting where they invited thousands of their councillors as the ANC to, read them the Riot Act, if you will. Listen to that and then contrast it with what Feroz Kachalia is saying. Have a listen.
I say it's service delivery improvement or death for us. That is how we must approach it. It is unacceptable that as leaders of the people of the areas where we live, we can have water leaks, sewage running in the street, and not take any action. Now I want, and your marching orders today are when there's a water leak, when there's sewage in the street, you must be the first to know. And you must do something about it within 48 hours.
Within 48 hours, he says. How responsive are these councillors usually? He went on to say, do they even understand what municipalities are meant to do as investment opportunities?
Wherever you are, look at your municipality as an investment opportunity and ask yourself whether any business person any major business could ever come and invest there. And ask yourself as councils, what do we need to do to attract businesses to come and invest and create jobs? Because in the end, comrades, it is the business community that has the money. They control 75% of our economy, and let's crowd them in.
Let's crowd them in. So what did they do when Lichtenberg lost all of its investment because of exactly these issues that they were not being addressed at local government level? Didn't they stand aside and watch as business after business fled municipality after municipality after municipality because those were dysfunctional? Wasn't it just in recent weeks we saw before the portfolio committee people explaining the millions they were paying themselves for jobs they couldn't even describe in parliament? What did they do when all of those things were happening? So even if you want to be generous to the president here and say these are honest admissions, you've got to ask the question, did he not know all along? And then we must speak to the quality of councillor the ANC has. I've got some sound courtesy of Newsroom Africa, an interview in which the political analyst Levi Ndo raised his concerns about the competence of these officials at basic levels.
I'm also a bit worried about the attendance and whether the message will also be able to be received by all the councillors there. And I'm talking about very simple things. There was a concern raised by Minister Simelane that there are a number of councillors who cannot read and write, who have got challenges simply of not being able to understand the language that we're actually utilizing now. I do know that the president is multilingual. Maybe he will therefore be able to utilize all the different languages so that the councillors will be able to take the message through.
They can't read or write. Certainly not in the language of business, says Levi Ndo. As I said, that's courtesy of Newsroom Africa. So what's your response to all the president had to say?
Morning, Bongani. My please moment is when you're having a politician on an interview and you ask him a question and he start by saying, Bongani, as you know, I said, please, Tabang here.
Good morning, Bongani and team. Patrick here. You know, I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, you know, what the president has done. I wonder if he thought about it after saying it. Because if you stand in front of your councillors in the national TV and say often, which means it's not once, it's more than once, that the audit that passes at the municipals that are run by the DA. So one, he's actually indirectly said to us, the DA delivers, the ANC does not deliver. Oh, he just shot himself. Otito. Have a wonderful day, guys. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
EWN.
Quarter after 7, this Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. There are lots of delays in the Mill Park area. Amo?
Yes, Bongani, that's due to an accident that's being reported along Empire Road near Berry Herzog. It's causing heavy traffic volumes along that intersection, so please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic along Hudson Drive. This is between Kasogari Road and the M1 exit. Obviously, peak time delays there while traveling along the Golden Highway. Roadworks are taking place between Union Avenue and Meredale. So as a result, we're seeing heavy traffic volumes along this route. Please be on the lookout and be patient on the roads. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago, you were driving your child to the first day of school, and 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were still there on the roads, easing traffic congestion. So whether you're an Outsurance client or not, we've all been getting something out. Show Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate the 20th anniversary using hashtag pointsmanlove. Johannesburg, Tshwane, Paarl, Stellenbosch, everybody celebrate. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out, in proud partnership with 702. a licensed insurer, and FSP.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
This isn't an event, it's a statement. When you choose Thirst Mobile Bar Services, you choose confidence without spectacle. These discreet mobile bars come with expert mixologists and service that speaks louder than words. Every detail refined, every pour intentional, every guest remembered. Thirst Mobile Bar Services, the perfect ingredient, the perfect outcome. For those who expect more and settle for nothing less. Secure your year-end date now at thirst.co.za.
It is said that listening to Mozart could boost intelligence. So we at RMB bought this extended radio spot to give you 30 seconds of Mozart just to get some thinking done. That was nice, huh? Just some time to think. Well, that is precisely what we do at RMB. Invest in the time to think of smarter solutions for our clients. RMB, Solutionists Love Company. RMB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
18 after 7. Around the country, there are an estimated 9 million children who receive food from the school nutrition program. For many of these kids, sometimes it's their only meal that day. Gauteng feeds 1.6 million children alone as a province, but now that lifeline is in trouble. In February this year, the Department of Education awarded 9 billion rand, a 3-year contract to 49 companies to deliver food across 10 districts in the province. Within a week, losing bidders went to the High Court saying some of the winners were not eligible. They accused them of being unregistered, tax dodgers, or even not existent. Some, of course, were allegedly linked to politicians. The fight now sits on the Premier's desk, but what it means, if not resolved, more than 1,600 schools could be left without meals. To explain to us what might be at stake, we've invited Lisa Sukdev, who is an attorney representing some of the aggrieved providers. The Gauteng Department of Education did not agree to speak to us on this issue. Lisa, very good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having us on air. I'm surprised that Steve Mabona, the spokesperson for GDE, declined. He's been very vocal about this topic, very often either ill-informed or blatantly misleading the public. But I am very thankful.
Perhaps they were not available today. Perhaps they might still avail themselves at a future point, and we live in hope for all of that. But Lisa, let's just start this from the beginning. I mean, I don't know if my summary of it is accurate. You are representing the bidders that lost. And of course, predictably, many people will say, isn't your case just sour grapes?
That is something that would be typical if people don't understand the facts. And I think what is crucial is for people to understand the process that has led to this, right? Because the bidders that I represent, and I'm actually a spokesperson for a group of bidders that have been disgruntled by this entire process. This bid was advertised in November 2023. It closed on the 24th of November 2023, and thereafter the GDE did warehouse inspections. I think also important for listeners to understand is this tender is not based on prices. The GDE provides the pricing and the mandatory requirements for this bid, and it is based on compliance. So they give you a list of all the things that they require you have, including warehouses, vehicles, qualified staff, etc., and they stipulate the pricing. So the GDE went out in May 2024, and they did warehouse inspections. They then awarded letters to bidders on the 19th of June 2024. And in July 2024, companies started delivering. In July 2024, companies that were then awarded, beside being awarded, they were asked to sign their SLA agreements as per the instruction from the department. And then on the 1st of August, we found that LTC Holdings, Tintinki Trading Projects, and other unsuccessful bidders launched a review application against the GDE for the above bid. The GDE served its notice to defend, but eventually they did not put up a defense, and instead they settled out of court. They then re-advertised the tender, ending 28th of February 2025 to finalize this process. Then we find on the 25th of September, the GDE sent notices to service providers to come in and sign termination letters for the same contract that was now being settled out of court. No explanation was given, but it only stated that there is a court order and that the GDE failed to produce this court order, and that an out-of-court settlement was what was agreed on. Many of the bidders refused to sign this letter. We find in October 2024, the GDE advertised the bid meant to replace the previous one. And then on the 1st of November, they withdrew the tender on the closing date with no explanations given. We suspect that most of the officials' friends were unable to satisfy the hurdle requirements of the bid, hence it was withdrawn. On the 8th of November, the GDE advertised the bid again, and on the 22nd of November, the bid closed. And on the 28th of February 2025, the GDE publishes a list of awarded bidders. This time, 49 companies were awarded, and over 26 of the companies awarded in June the previous year was suddenly eliminated during the bidding process. Coincidentally, of the companies that took GDE to court, 2 companies were now on the awarded bidders list and received some of the highest numbers in terms of learner allocation. When bidders took this matter to court, on the 14th of March, one of the bidders launched its review application and an urgent interdict application in the High Court. The matter was heard, and Judge Liebenberg dismissed the urgent interdict, but found enough merit in the review application. She could not uphold the interdict due to the balance of convenience for the learners to ensure that they continue to be fed whilst the legal process is reviewed. Now, the record is requested on the 2nd of April 2025. The record is required for the review application, and the GDE completely ignores this and does not answer it. The GDE eventually sent the Bid Evaluation Committee report and a few other documents that were shockingly totally disorganized, and it shows you the lack of respect that they have for this process or their accountability to the public at large. And the most important documentation was also missing. On the 17th of April, the bidders brought an application to compel the GDE to make available the complete record, and the GDE failed to provide the complete record. On the 13th of May, the application to compel is heard by Judge Wanless, and the judge ordered the GDE to deliver the full record. That means all documents, notes, meeting minutes, evaluation committee minutes, BAC reports. BAC we're referring to is the Bid Adjudication Committee. And the reason that these documents were requested is there is a valid process that is gazetted by Treasury. You do your bid submission, a Bid Evaluation Committee has to look at those documents. They've got to take minutes.
All right, Lisa, I'm going to interrupt you there. Because I think you've given us the gist of the background. So essentially what you're saying, these bids went out, sometimes were withdrawn, some bidders were awarded, at times that was withdrawn. It's gone to court. There have been some orders to at least provide the record of decision. Has that, as things stand now, been provided?
No. So in the last visit to court, where there was an application brought to hold the GDE in contempt, and they then came with a supplementary affidavit stating under oath that they do not have any further documentation. This is proof that this entire process, this entire bid process, is now irregular because they have not followed due process.
How did the court respond to that?
Due process. So the court has given us leave to review, and this matter now will then continue in court.
What are you appealing for now, and what does this all mean for the kids who are reliant on this program?
So I have to tell you that the bidders, despite the fact that they have incorrect allocations, right? Remember that any tender is meant to empower. But what this process has done is merely disempowered people that genuinely firstly qualify to provide the service.
I'm going to need you to answer what I'm asking you.
Okay.
What are you appealing for now, and what has all of this meant for the learners reliant on this program?
Yes, the learners have not been impacted. So the bidders still continue to provide the food to the schools on a weekly basis. The children are not impacted in this in any way. What we are appealing for is that this bid process needs to stop where it is right now, and it needs to be redone correctly as mandated by Treasury.
Is there a probe that could look at all of this independently and determine what was right and what was wrong?
100%. So in June this year, we were told by GDE that they would get that they would have this reviewed, okay, by the Auditor General. To date, there is absolutely no feedback, despite us asking repeatedly, where are the results of the audit?
Have you written to the Premier's office?
Yes, we've written to the Premier's office.
And?
We've written to the Premier's office via email. We have received read receipts and delivery reports. We've hand-delivered letters, which were signed for by their office. There's radio silence.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate your time. Lisa Sukdev, an attorney representing aggrieved providers. We are continuing to reach out to the Gauteng Education Department to obviously have their perspective on this. And when they are available, we'll certainly put them on the radio.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic Report is brought to you by South African Airways. This season, South African Airways has added more flights to Lagos, Accra, Sao Paulo. Book your seat today at flysaa.com. Amo?
Well, Bongani, there's heavy traffic volumes along several roads within the Fourways area, Cedar Road, Winnie Mandela Drive, as well as Main Road, due to multiple reasons like faulty traffic lights. I'll have more details coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
From 4 November, South African Airways launches double daily flights between Johannesburg and Gaborone. Premium service, convenient timings, and the reliability you deserve. Open for booking. Book now at flysaa.com.
EWN Business.
All right, let's talk business news now. Muteo, inflation forecast, all of them are hitting a record low. So all eyes on what happens from the Monetary Policy Committee.
God.
Will they?
I don't know.
Where are we?
The Bureau for Economic Research says long-term inflation forecasts are now lower. Its inflation expectations survey for the third quarter of 2025 shows that predictions for price fluctuations have dropped to an average of 4.2% over the next 5 years, down from 4.4%. Now, both the 1 year and 5 year forward expectations are now at 4.2%. The Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee will be meeting this week, and it's could then twist their arm to cut more interest rates in the country. The repo rate currently at around 7%, and some consumers and households hoping for more shaving of that interest rate.
That would be nice, but I don't know if we should hold our breath. Hey, where's the rand?
Rand at this hour, 17 Rand 34 against the US dollar. Stronger this morning, 20 Rand 43 against the euro and 23 Rand 61 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,683 an ounce, or platinum it's at $1,400. Brent crude at $67.60 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go now. Mbali Dlamini, this Eyewitness News brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. The ANC making some concessions. Good morning.
That's correct, Bongani. A very good morning. The ANC has now conceded it needs to do better for the people who have trusted it with their votes. Yesterday, the party convened more than 4,000 of its councillors from across the country at the FNB Stadium in Soweto. The councillors were given an action plan on how they can improve service delivery and governance at their respective municipalities. Tembisa Hospital has more.
The Gold Rush Dome at the FNB Stadium was not enough to house all the attendees, with some members not having space to sit. The ANC has 4,929 elected ward and PR councillors across the country, far more than any other political party. Deputy Chairperson of the ANC's Local Government Intervention Committee, Dixon Masemola, says ANC-controlled municipalities in places like the Free State and the Northwest have not performed well.
We cannot continue to subject our people to inconsistent performance which does not resonate with the support and the love the people demonstrate to the ANC or on the ANC.
Masemola, who's also the Deputy Cocta Minister, says some of the interventions at government level includes withholding funding from poor performing municipalities. Tembisa Hospital, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay with politics. The DA in the Western Cape has rejected the ANC's claims of political interference in Knysna after the provincial government decided to dissolve the council due to service delivery failures. The ANC's tripartite alliance partner, the SACP, views this decision as a political witch hunt. The Communist Party is convinced the DA is bitter that an ANC-led coalition is running the municipality, but the DA says these claims are baseless and without evidence. An administrator will take over the running of the Garden Route town until fresh elections are held within 90 days. Here's the DA's Dave Bryant.
This is not about politics. It's about restoring basic services and stability. If the ANC has evidence to back up its claims, they should present these to the authorities. If not, they must stop playing politics while Knysna residents face real challenges.
Back in Johannesburg, City Power has reaffirmed its commitment to rooting out corruption by taking a tough stance against its own employees linked to stealing and tampering with infrastructure. In the latest incident, 3 of the power supplier's workers were arrested on charges of meddling with essential infrastructure. The 3 allegedly cut through core copper cables in Reimsig earlier this year. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangina says this kind of criminal activity often leaves many communities in the dark.
We really cannot and will not allow criminals, whether external syndicates or our own employees, to basically sabotage our network and undermine the service delivery efforts that we are making for the paying customers who are constantly inconvenienced by the outages that are happening, especially in this area of Reimsig.
And in Malawi, 7.2 million registered voters are expected to head to the polls today for a day of voting in 3 elections. Malawians will be casting their ballots in presidential, parliamentary and local elections. There are 17 names on the presidential ballot paper, but analysts say the race is between President Lazarus Chakwera and his predecessor Peter Mutharika. They have both campaigned with the promise of improving the economy, battered by a series of climate shocks. 2 seasons of drought and a devastating cyclone in 2023 have compounded hardships in a country where the World Bank says around 70% of the population is living in poverty. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today, lows of between 9 and 14 degrees and highs of between 28 and 33.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in 4 ways along several roads, including Cedar Road, Winnie Mandela Drive, as well as Witkoppen Road. There's also queuing traffic in Mill Park along Empire Road after Barry Herzog. This is due to an accident. Please be on the lookout there.
The top story in EWN this hour, the ANC has conceded it needs to do better for the people who have trusted it with their votes.
You are the biggest saver we've ever had.
2,794 Rand a month. It was the easiest switch ever.
What was the real deal they could offer you?
870.
That's amazing. You're always getting something out.
Yeah.
I've been battling to get nice car insurance. Outsurance, I found them. I'm saving a cool $360.
Get the real deal with the real savings.
I made the right move.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Just phone Outsurance, get a quote and see what they can offer you. If you don't save that 321 like I did, you might say get a 500 or $1,000 back. Service and savings, you'll always get something out.
How is it that Outsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible. What brought you and Outsurance together?
718 Rand. I end up saving.
They gave you the real deal.
It literally is the real deal.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What's your relationship with the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibia? Do you guys know each other?
I know the general for many years.
You have a close relationship?
I've got a close relationship with him for many years, not in the bad way. Like everyone who are friend to him. He's a very nice person to anyone.
What formed the relationship?
What formed the relationship? I meet the general when he used to be in the Scorpion. Yeah, that's where we met it before. We never meet it in the office. We meet it via close friend.
So this is more a friendly relationship?
A friendly relationship,
okay.
Nothing more than that.
Friend of Ket Matlala, businessman Serge Kabonge.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9 featuring Tracker. Their CEO Dylan Fernando will be in conversation just before 9. Join us every Wednesday to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. Let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
The Coliseum of Big Wins is yours to dominate in the electrifying Hollywood Bets exclusive Spinner Zonke Tournament of Champions. Go for glory. Make legendary spins for a shot at striking wins. Conquer the reels and you could claim your share of a massive 500,000 Rand in cash. Power your play. Bet 2 Rand or more on selected slots to start your leaderboard rise. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for general practitioners, dentists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Kuveni.
It's so nice to know the business risk is taken care of by Business Outsurance. The call center was just a dream to deal with. Very seamless, easy experience, and it just feels like the people we're talking to on the other line understand our needs.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Your guest is completely warming my heart. You know, when you have facts, when you do things right, because all the nyanyas that government is doing with the corruption, when they bring the facts that they don't know what to say. And these are the things that's happening in all government entities at the expense of our people. The government must be ashamed of themselves.
Bongani, listening to this story, it's heartbreaking. You know, currently in the Val, Vereeniging district to be precise, they opened a school at Tsepong and Savannah. And both those schools that they've opened, they don't have running water, they don't have proper writing material, there's no proper machine. Yet the district director does not care. He's so arrogant, it's not even funny. And the situation was even running this story last week to say, Lenas have been going for 4 hours in a school. Yet nothing is done to the man. He's just there enjoying his directorship. He's not even engaging the municipality to ensure that these things are happening. Cry the beloved country. Sam from the Valley.
Good morning, it's Karen from Road Report. Same old, same old. This feeding scheme here, it's a same old story. The companies that won those tenders, those big tenders, those companies are aligned to the political elite. It's the same old thing. This is not rocket science. Thank you.
It's why I was asking the question a little earlier on when the president was reading those councillors the Riot Act. Do you really think they heard a word?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. It's your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So first 1,000 Rand for the answer, then later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now and you could save on your car insurance. Today's answer comes from Buti in Ekurhuleni. Buti, please give us today's answer.
Roll call.
Defeated, yes, Buti. You've defeated me. And have you got a quote from Outsurance?
Yes.
All right. Buti, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Buti's answer is roll call. What, pray tell, is the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702. One of my favorite Spike Lee movies is called Get on the Bus, and it's all about the Million Man March to Washington in 1995. And as the guys sort of meet each other, because they're all perfect strangers to each other, but they're all going to this march, and they do this roll call, and they do this rap where they go, Shabuya, Shabuya, roll call. My name is so-and-so. I come from that, and I'm here to do this, to represent that. That's not the question.
EWN Sport.
You've just wanted to sing that on radio for the longest time.
Cindy, let's
Huge.
talk
Right.
sport. Big game tonight
Huge.
in the Betway Premiership.
Huge.
And some unlikely names if you think about where the league
Yes.
was or the
Yes.
log was this time last year.
Because third on the table, Kaizer Chiefs are hosting second on the table, Sekakone. Chiefs are having their best start to a season in a decade. Defender Zita Kwanika on what's gone right.
I think now we're pushing the team first. It's not about individuals, and we want the team to do well. We are here because of Kaizer Chiefs, so we put Kaizer Chiefs on top, and then the rest of us, we need to contribute. And so it's upon everyone, those small improvements within the group that I think contributes in the well-being of the team doing well.
Kickoff is at 7:30. At the other end of the table, the two bottom sides, Auburn and Chippa, go head-to-head. The other game is Durban City against Sibalele. First round of the UEFA Champions League starts at 6:45 tonight. Eindhoven against St. Galois and Arsenal away at Athletic Club. Gala's boss Mikel Arteta.
Well, we're excited to start again from scratch in a beautiful place, in a stadium that is going to generate something special. We're looking forward to that, and I'm very excited again to step by step start to build some momentum and start to have some wins.
At 9 p.m, Benfica battles Quarabach, Juventus entertain Dortmund. Real Madrid hosts Marseille, Spurs entertain Villarreal. Proteas women play their first of 3 ODIs against Pakistan today. Captain Laura Wolfart on what they're expecting.
They're a really good side. I think we've obviously had some good battles coming here the last couple of seasons. I think we've been here 3 Septembers in a row now, and it's a side we really like playing against and that we have really good challenges and battles against. Obviously in their condition suits their attack with the ball, so we'll have to play some good cricket if we want to win the series.
At the World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Armand Duplantis set another world record, clearing 6.3 meters. The 14th time he's broken his own record. Says it was great to have his family there.
I think it's me giving something to them as much as also they're giving something very special to me. And to be able to enjoy this world record with them and give them that, I think is super, super special. Absolutely amazing crowd that was giving me so much energy the entire competition, especially at the end when it came to that world record height. So I just feel, very overwhelming sense of gratefulness and I'm just very happy.
Team South Africa with no medals yet. Zakiti Nene and Live Pele compete in the men's 400-meter semi-final today. Tomorrow, Tsepochiete booked his place in the 1,500 meters final. And at the UCI Mountain Bike World Champs in Switzerland, South African Alan Hatherley defending his title, finishing 48 seconds ahead of the pack. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options, from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
It's the clarion call for the 26th Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. This year, plan your days wisely because we're putting out all the stops. Jazz at Lincoln Center featuring the legendary Wynton Marsalis returning in triumph to the Sandton Convention Center 26th, 27th and 28th of September. But that's not all. Well over 60 world-class acts lighting up 4 stages throughout that weekend. Actually, why choose, hey? I don't know which one to go to. I want to go to all of them. Treat yourself to the full experience. Grab all 3 days exclusively at Ticketmaster. Take me there.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 kg D-Lite 37% fat spread tub, $34.99. Save R8 with Spar Rewards. Or 1 kg Spar French, chili, garlic or chicken polony for $34.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Traffic in the capital, Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. We've got heavy delays on the N1 South between the Proof Plus interchange and the Flying Saucer turn off. There's also queuing traffic along several routes within the areas like Irene, Nelmapius Drive and Main Road, faulty traffic lights there. There's also queuing traffic along Delmas Road coming out of Nelmapius Drive as well. And if you are also traveling on the R80 East, do expect delays as you approach Eskom Pahlele exit. This is due to peak time delays. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more. Opel
Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is roll call. Let's go to Nandi on the East Rand. Nandi, what's the question?
Hi, Bongani. The question is, what meeting did the ANC have yesterday held at Johannesburg?
That's what they called it, isn't it? The roll call. Yeah, if you don't laugh, sometimes you will cry. Nandi, have you got a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I did.
Biscuit. 2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to 702 and Outsurance. Nandi there winning that prize. What are your thoughts on the roll call? Do you think that the ANC has thrown its councillors under the bus? Do you think this is an honest reflection by its leaders, a reset? Do you think they didn't know these councillors were doing this all along? Your views, let's talk.
If you want to save on your car insurance premium, you call Outsurance, right? But what if you don't save? Well, they'll give you cash just for trying. You heard right. Just ask for 500 Rand cash. But wait, there's more. If you don't save and have been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years, you can ask them for 1,500 Rand cash. Savings or cash, you always get something out. Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Mzansi, 133 million Rand in guaranteed Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots could change your life. That's right. Play Powerball for a guaranteed 70 million Rand and Powerball Plus for a guaranteed 63 million Rand today. Buy your tickets now, in-store, online at nationallottery.co.za, on the mobile app, via cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
After a short migration, the family arrives at the premier resort, rich in food, drink, and entertainment. The young, freed from classroom captivity, head straight for Kids Club and the safety of the herd. The adult male meanders to the scuba center, while the matriarch basks by the pool.
Book your resort escape to Knysna, East London, Scottborough or Sunny Pass at premierhotels.co.za.
Experience extraordinary with the new iPhone 17 from Vodacom, Zanzi's winning 5G network. More delightful, more durable, with a 6.3-inch ProMotion display, center stage front camera, and a ceramic shield that's 2 times more scratch resistant. Be among the first to get the all-new iPhone 17 plus a free extended warranty. Pre-order yours today. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning team. Morning 702 Land. Muteo's question about people that you borrow money to. I used to be the one that keeps quiet. FIFA, Mother Teresa. And then I went through a lot of therapy. I will want my money and I will be stern. And if you take me from pillar to post, I will ask for my money in a group where we are together on WhatsApp. Ndifuna my money. Pay me back my money. Because we had an arrangement. You promised to pay me. Why haven't you paid me? Thank you. Fezwe Alberton.
Fezwe, it sounds like sounds like that WhatsApp group is happening right now, hey? Muteo Haripa asked earlier, what do you do if somebody owes you money and they haven't paid it back? This all, of course, has to do with the Auditor General. That office often audits state-owned entities and departments, and they are owed over R1 billion in audit fees. What would you do?
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Let's come now to the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Let's start with this lovely story. A selfless act. Really, I think more by the bride than even the groom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was in on it, but I mean, if you think about it, when a bride is getting married, she always wants to be the star of the show and have all the attention on her. So at her wedding, she and her groom got up and they were, dressing the audience. And they then made a really special gesture for one of her bridesmaids who, during the COVID time, remember those wonderful times during COVID where you couldn't do nothing? And if you did get married, it was like a really, really small thing and social distancing. Gives me the creeps just thinking about it. So at her wedding, she decided to do something beautiful for her bridesmaid. And this is what she did.
And so what would make us happy in this moment? And we knew right away what we wanted to do. So to make a long story short, my now beautiful sister-in-law, Erin, got married during all the fun COVID times. She had a beautiful, intimate wedding. And she did not get her father-daughter dance that she deserves without Jason. So we're going to do that right now. You can't be mad about
Father-daughter dance. And she got to do it at her sister-in-law's wedding. So that's a really nice gesture, I think. And Bongles, guess what the song was when they did their father-daughter dance?
Yeah.
Butterfly kisses. So cheesy. But at least she got to do her father-daughter dance. But there was not a dry eye in the house, by the way. They were all in tears. So... the question this morning I wanted to find out from our 702 family is, what was the thing that you didn't get to do during those wonderful COVID times? Really bad times for many of us. But what were some of the things that you just didn't get to do that maybe, years later, you finally got to do it, or you had your chance to do something that you couldn't do?
All right, let's put that question out there. And Which team will he choose?
This was a really funny video. So little Lati, and on the couch there's two supporter jerseys. One Manchester City, and the other one Manchester United. Now, they're obviously the wife is a City supporter, and the husband is a Man United supporter. And they have the kid there, and they say, "Okay, choose which jersey you want, and if you choose a particular jersey, that's the team you will support." So the kid picks the Manchester United jersey. Now, shame, he's going to have years of heartache ahead of him. But he chose that particular jersey, and maybe he will remain a supporter of that team for the remainder of his life, right? But it got me thinking about the team that you support. Now, take yourself all the way back. What made you choose or become a supporter of that particular team? Was it a player? Was it because you live in a certain area? Was it because of your father or your mother? What were the reasons that you picked the team you support this day?
It can also be a particular squad, right? At the point that you pick the team.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Arsenal being a team of Thierry Henry when you had Robert Pires. You had so many fantastic players all playing at the same time as part of that dream squad, if you will. And that's how I became an Arsenal fan. And to this day, here we are. So how do you pick the football team that you support, or any sports team? What were your reasons? Do let us know.
EWN Traffic.
Let's catch up with the roads at this hour. It's peak time traffic. Of course, this Eyewitness News traffic brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got a major accident scene that I was told about on the N1 North right after the Deep Kloof interchange is causing heavy delays. It's right near Pennyville, so please be on the lookout there and drive with care. And there's also queuing traffic on the Mike 1 North. This is due to peak time delays between Boysons and Car Street. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago, you were driving your child, maybe, to their first day of school. And guess what? 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were already on the roads, easing traffic congestion. And whether you're a client of Outsurance or not, we've all been able to get something out, right? Well, show the Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate this 20th anniversary using hashtag pointsmanlove. Johannesburg, Tshwane, Paarl, in Stellenbosch. Let's celebrate. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
702.
Feedback.
With Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongo.
Do you support a particular football team?
No, I don't, because there's so many people in my family who support different teams and I don't want to take sides. So the team that wins on that day, I am for that team.
Batung.
I'm not a soccer.
Clearly.
I'm not a soccer fan, guys. And I don't spoil the party. So
Okay. Just an all-round nice person. That's what it is,
Yeah.
fundamentally, right? Right, what feedback do you have for us this morning?
Well, Bongani, people are coming after President Cyril Ramaphosa after the comments he made yesterday. Many listeners are saying that he just handed the elections over to the DA. He just basically said, guys, ANC is not doing such a good job. So you know what party to vote for in the upcoming elections. And others feel that the ANC is simply repeating themselves and repeating what we already know. We already know the difficulties that we're going through. We already know that the municipalities are not being run correctly, and they just need to come up with new strategies to get people to vote for them. Also, Bongani, people are reacting to Mateo's question when he posed about how do you get paid
Your money back.
Your money back.
What do you do?
You know what, Bongani? I don't borrow people money. I will rather give you an amount. If you ask me for 1,000 rand, I'll give you like 300 and say, it's okay. You don't have to worry about that 300 rand. But I'll never ask you for the money you owe me back because I just got rid of you like that.
A young 300.
Yeah.
Can I have a young 300? We'll take more of your responses to all the issues that we've raised on the show. That is a joke. I'm not asking Rupia for money on air. Not, really not. Taking more of your responses to all that we've raised, and the Gauteng Department of Education is available to speak to us, and that will happen after this Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
Another high-level meeting scheduled over deadly Cape Town taxi violence and the Lusikisiki mass murder trial returns to court today. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin in the Western Cape, where final preparations are underway for public transport contingency plans ahead of massive taxi route closures tomorrow. From tomorrow, taxi routes between Mfuleni, Khayelitsha, Lwandle and Somerset West will be closed for 30 days due to violence. Several people have been killed in taxi-related attacks in the recent weeks. Kata Deputy Chairperson Mnigeli Ngope was the latest victim of the violence after he was shot and killed at the Nyanga taxi rank last week. Western Cape Mobility MEC Isaac Sileku is expected to meet with both Kata and Kodekta taxi associations today to try and end their deadly conflict. Sileku says he's looking forward to today's meeting.
Ultimately, what we want to see is whatever arrangement or agreement has been agreed upon, government and association, that it must be penned down and everybody must commit to it. But we will continue with our processes of closing the routes. And when we see at least there is calm, there is dedication, there is commitment from affected parties, then we'll have to reconsider our decision.
He adds that measures have been put in place to help the commuters who will be affected by the route closures.
We've been in contact with PRASA, we've been in contact with GAPS. Of course, they've got their own concern in terms of risk, what might happen, but we are hopeful that with the number of police and law enforcement officers that will be deploying at these routes, making sure that we are able to guard some of the public transport that will be assisting our commuters.
Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has defended the top-secret classification of a report into the conduct of police officers involved in an operation to get back thousands of US dollars stolen from President Cyril Ramaphosa's Palapala farm. Yesterday, the trial of 3 suspects accused of housebreaking appeared in the Modimolle Regional Court for the start of their trial more than 5 years since that incident. In a reply to a parliamentary question from Action SA, Kachalia says to make the police report public would disrupt operational planning. In an answer to another question from the ATM, Kachalia has revealed that the head of the President's Protection Unit, Wally Rueda, has been found not guilty for pursuing suspects without an official police case having been registered. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Action SA and the ATM are among political parties who are demanding to know why Major General Wally Rueda is off the hook on misconduct charges when in 2023 the Public Protector found evidence that he had breached the SAPS's disciplinary regulations and should face a hearing. In an explanation to Parliament, the Police Minister says he's satisfied the classification of the Palapala report meets the minimum information security standards. He says the report has the propensity to damage operational relations between institutions. But the ATM's Vuyo Zungula says his party will challenge what it views as the failure to discipline Rueda as per the Public Protector's recommendations.
It is a deliberate effort by the ANC government to try and destroy most of these institutions that can actually hold them accountable and institute criminal proceedings against them.
Action SA, meanwhile, has threatened legal action if the police rejects its application to release the report. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
In the courts now, cross-examination is set to continue in the Lusikisiki mass murder trial in the Eastern Cape as proceedings draw to an end this week. 6 men are accused of murdering 18 relatives in Ngobozana village last year. The matter returns to the Mthatha High Court, which is sitting in Lusikisiki. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
This month marks exactly a year since the gruesome massacre of 18 people in Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape. But the state is still fighting to prove its case, with a key state witness having dropped bombshells in court. During his testimony, Luando Api shared details of the alleged involvement of the group of men accused of the mass murder. He also testified that he was the one who drove the gunmen to Ngobozana village when the massacre occurred. He also positively linked accused one Mzukisi Ndamase with other murder cases outside the Lusikisiki matter. Ndamase is accused of having planned the massacre while behind bars. This morning, Ndamase is expected to continue cross-examining Api as he is legally representing himself. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
To this now, Social Development Minister Sisisi Tolashe says she is confident in the fraud and corruption prevention systems of the South African Social Security Agency. The agency has added several security measures to ensure that all rightful beneficiaries receive their financial grants. Tolashe says recipients need to enroll in the biometric system, which forms part of the flagship initiatives. Ntokozo Khumalo takes a look.
Earlier this year, SASSA was under fire over a chaotic grant verification process which left many frustrated. The agency has attempted to implement security measures to prevent any fraudulent activities. This follows a discovery made by two Stellenbosch students who had taken note of major vulnerabilities in the system. Meanwhile, Minister Sisi Tolashe says she is aware of the agency's tainted image, but they are working on addressing the myriad of issues. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
And more than 50 people have been killed in recent gang violence in Haiti. The National Human Rights Defense Network says the attacks happened last week in areas north of the capital. The NGO says some of the bodies were being devoured by dogs when they were found after being dumped in the bushes. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere and has experienced soaring violence, with parts of the country under the control of armed gangs. The situation deteriorated further last year when a coalition of gangs launched a wave of attacks, leading to Prime Minister Ariel Henry's resignation, handing over power to the Presidential Transition Council. Gold is trading at $3,683.31 an ounce. The rand is at 17.38 to the dollar, 23.61 to the pound, 20.42 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.44 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got bumper-to-bumper delays between the Deep Kloof interchange and Albertina Sisulu Road. This is due to a major accident that happened in the Pennyville area. Please be on the lookout there. About a 30-minute hold-up already, and try to avoid. And if you're traveling on the R24 east towards Kempton Park, we've got delays between Barbara Road and Atlas Road.
And in your sport, the Proteas women play Pakistan in the first ODI today at 12:30. Chiefs and Sekakode both have a chance to go top of the Premiership table tonight. First round of the Champions League kicks off at 6:45 with Arsenal in action. And Duplantis is the pole vault world champion for a third time in a new record 6.30 metres.
A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 9 and 14 degrees and highs of between 28 and 33. The top story in EWN this hour. Final preparations are underway in the Western Cape for public transport contingency plans ahead of massive taxi route closures from tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast. It is a Tuesday. It's the 16th of September. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. The countdown is on. Two big events this month. The DSTV Delicious Festival. Have you got your tickets? The Joy of Jazz. Have you got your tickets? It's going to be a busy September. That's what an important month. That's how you end a birthday month, right? Isn't that how you
just
end?
wiggle that in?
You know? Kabazela is talking about what we didn't do in 2020 because of lockdown, right? I don't think there was a DSTV Delicious in 2020.
No, there was no.
There was no Joe of Jazz in 2020. At least not. I think it was virtual, the Joe of Jazz, to the degree that there was anything. My memory, I'm an old man. My memory might be fading. What did you not get to do in 2020 that you've been able to do since? We're talking things like a wedding, maybe a christening, or MGD, some family event that you would have wanted to have. Because, 2020 vision. And COVID said, oh, really? I'll show you something to see. I'll give you something to look at. Mateo?
As well, I still haven't done it yet. But I used to stay in Turkey, and the Champions League final was on the 30th of May 2020. Didn't get to do that anymore. Yeah, so I'm still waiting.
So on your bucket list is the Champions League final.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
All right. What did you do? What didn't you do? Let us know.
Good morning, 702. The thing that I never got to do was matric dance for my son. I have never been happier. Matric dances are very expensive. He was in matric during COVID. We never got to go through that horror. Yippee!
Good morning, 702 and team. I missed out on a trip to the UK to see a brand new granddaughter being born, and I was planning to go and see the Royal Chelsea Flower Show, something I've always wanted to do, and that will never happen because now I am 68. I do not like flying, and Queen Elizabeth has passed away. I was always hoping to see her, so that can never come true or be done later. Granny T. Boxburg.
Aww. And it's not the same with Charles, right? You know, all those, and I'm no royalist, please understand me. I'm no royalist in this country. I'm no royalist in any country. The idea of, you know, a hereditary title, the divine right to rule, come on. But there was some gravitas to Queen Elizabeth, at least, right? Even if you're not a royalist, you could kind of see it. Hey, my guy Charles. My guy
You
Charles.
calling him my guy?
My guy Charles, I don't think so. It'd be one thing maybe if Princess Diana, who would now presumably be Queen Diana, if she was still around, you know, and his wife, maybe that would be different. Do you ever do that? Treat someone differently because Muteo,
all the goodness around you is
only
gone.
know Kiamo. Come on. Like, don't ever.
The one good thing to you.
You know what I mean? Amo, you're a Pirate supporter. How did you come to that decision?
My family, everyone in my home supports Kaizer Chiefs. But growing up, I learned very soon that they are only supporting Kaizer Chiefs because it's a family thing. Right? And not because I wanted to be any different from everyone in the family, but I remember just sitting down and asking everyone, why are you supporting Kaizer Chiefs? They didn't have a proper reason. They were just like, no, it's us in this house that Ramila's are Kaizer Chiefs fans. I was like, oh, okay, then that's fine. And then came this one particular moment because I used to follow football, and at that time, Super Sport United used to win every title, right? And Orlando Pirates managed to beat Super Sport United, I think 4-0. I said, that's going to be my team. If a team is going to humble a leading team 4-0, that's the one that I'm going with.
Not that you wanted to be different at all.
No, not that I wanted to be different
Never
at all.
you.
No, never,
No.
never me. No.
Perish the
Hey,
thought.
good morning, Bongani and 702 Landers. This is now from DK. So the team I support is Kaizer Chiefs. And the reason why is because when I was young, my uncles, so my mom and my grand are both Pirates. So my uncles are Kaizer Chiefs. So for me to watch TV and sports, they said to me I had to watch the team that they support. So I ended up supporting Kaizer Chiefs and Manchester United. So yeah, that's my story.
Morning, Bongs. For me, well, I was always going to support Sundowns. I've got fond memories of sitting outside a stoop back at home in Sosh, listening to Sundowns on the radio, and saw how excitable and excited my dad was. And since then, I was probably, 9, 10. And since then, Sundowns has been my team. And I've done the same for my son as well. I took him to a first game when he was only, 2 years old. And he's been a Sundowns fan ever since. Lesh from Pretoria.
Yeah, Bongani, as a family, we chose Pirates because of our same name, Chono, only.
Good morning, Bongani. The reason why I chose Man United was because of 3 people. Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, and Sir Alex Ferguson. That's the reason why I chose Man United. That was my first time being exposed to the EPL. And then in La Liga, I was exposed to that league. And guess who? You can already tell. I loved that team because of Ronaldo. I fell in love with that team because of Ronaldo. Well, I've seen Real Madrid Pele before with other players, but I had not yet chosen a team in the La Liga. But when Ronaldo came, that's when I chose that team. And then domestically, I chose Kaizer Chiefs. The reason why I chose Kaizer Chiefs was because of Brian Baloyi.
EWN Traffic.
All right, it's 8:15. Up next, we speak to Steve Mabona from the Gauteng Education Department. But a quick traffic update, Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got a major accident scene on the N1 North. It happened near Albertina Sisulu Road in the Pennyville area. It's causing massive queues coming out of Deep Kloof, the Deep Kloof interchange. That is about a 30-minute hold-up, so please try to avoid this route if you can. If you are traveling along the R24 East in the Isando area, another accident reported right near Atlas Road, delays from Barber Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North, peak time delays here between Morfontein Road and the Baklu interchange. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8:16. Let's speak to Steve Mabona now, who is the spokesperson for the Gauteng Education Department in response to the earlier interview about the school feeding crisis. You may remember we spoke earlier to Lisa Sukdev, who is an attorney representing a group of aggrieved providers. The school feeding scheme, the nutrition program, has been running since 1994. 1.6 million learners in this province depend on that program, but the initiative is now stuck in court with many of the losing bidders litigating against the department, saying the process was flawed. Steve, always a pleasure. Thank you for availing yourself to speak to us. I don't know how much you heard of what Lisa Sukdev had to say, but I suppose firstly, let me give you an opportunity to offer a broad response to the picture she painted. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongs, and to all our listeners. Yes, no, we listened to everything. I was ready actually at that time, but because of your program, you could not take me. But we're okay. So there's no crisis. Let's also rectify that. And there's not many service providers that are questioning. It's only one that is questioning. And we need to put it, on a perspective that they were eliminated at an administrative level. And they then rushed to court on an urgent basis to say they want to review the process. And the court said, no, but there's no agency. They dismissed that with cost and said, we are giving you an opportunity then to start with the review process. Then the court said you must, as a department, provide the necessary documentation so that it can give them an opportunity to review. We did that. We uploaded everything that they required, and we were expecting them now to proceed with the process of a review. But they went to the system, probably they could not understand the other information. Then they went and said we are in contempt of court. But when we gave a supplementary affidavit to say, no, but everything that they required, it's in the system. We've uploaded everything. Because their contention was that they want a BAC report. And then we said, we don't have a BAC report, but we have minutes of the BAC. The BAC is the Bid Adjudication Committee. And then they said they also want the BEC report. The BEC report is the Bid Evaluation Committee. And we have provided that. So it was up to them now to proceed with the review. And they also interacted with us, came to say we need indulgence. In the law space, they will say they will need indulgence, that they will need us to accommodate them to file. They need time. And we've considered with that indulgence to say, okay, it's fine, we are giving you an opportunity to file your papers. Now we are waiting for them to go ahead with the review. They are busy with interviews on the radio. We don't understand.
All right. So are you saying then that, for example, the list of the names of all the bidders for the tender, their contact details, their bid submissions, all those records of both the evaluation and adjudication committees, those have all been provided, including the scores of the winning bidders. All that information has been made available. Is that what you're saying?
All that information is in the system. They need just to access, because there's a case law. They need to go into the system, access the information, file their review. Then we are ready to respond to them. I mean, even if we were going to go to the previous process where we were found wanting in court, where we were stopped to say, no, you need to go back. There was no invalidity. There was nothing unlawful that was found. It's just that we could not finalize the process of the tender, and we went for the validation. We went to request all the, participants to say, we seek extension because we're not going to be in a position to finalize this process in 90 days. We request additional time. And we could not prove that all those participants responded to us requesting the validity of that process. And we agreed with court that, okay, it's fine, we'll rectify in terms of our policy. But we had to close that gap internally, and we proceeded, and we had to make sure that we tick all the boxes. That's why we are saying, let them go ahead and review. We will be in a position to respond. So there's no crisis here.
All right. I mean, and I imagine by one complainant, you're referring mostly to Umnoto Way to Trading Enterprises, UTE. Would that be correct?
No, I'm not going to go to names until they will also take
Fair
us,
enough. Fair enough.
that we are
That's
doing
fine.
that in the media. We're not going to be like them.
All right. I just want to clarify one thing. You've mentioned how they lost on this with a costs order, but as I understand it, the matter has been placed on pause pending that review, including, of course, that costs order. Would that be true?
No. It was in two parts. There's part A and part B. The court said, no, part A, there's no agency here.
Correct.
So you are losing on cost. Now, go ahead and review the process. And then the court said, GDE, provide them with information that they will then have to use to go for a review. We provided everything. We have uploaded in the system. Everything that they want is there. It's now for them to go ahead with their review. That's why they came to us and seek indulgence.
Sure.
In law, they did that. And we said, no, there's nothing wrong. We're giving you more time. Indulgence, they wanted more time for them to prepare, to review. So we gave them that. We are just waiting for them now to go ahead.
All right, but at least we can agree that even though the matter has been removed from the roll, the main case, that is, that cost order is also still reserved.
No. They lost that part. Remember, they went there on
they lost on the urgency.
They said we must stop.
Yes.
And they lost that part.
On the urgency.
Yes, they lost it.
But the main case is reserved until the review process has been completed. Is that correct?
That we are waiting for them to go ahead and review. Then we will respond. We'll then ventilate at court. But as far as our process is concerned, we've ticked all the boxes. There's nothing wrong here. And it's not many, service providers, as you put it. Only one.
All right. Steve Mabona, the spokesperson for the Gauteng Education Department.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, let's start with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that his company may carry out further strikes on Hamas leaders wherever they are. How much does this leave Israel exposed in the region? Adam, are you there? All right, we seem to have lost the connection to Adam. In fact, I meant not exposed, but isolated in the region. And it seems I'm the one who is isolated, with Adam Gilchrist not available, or at least not connected. Adam, are you there?
Morning, I am here.
There we go. All right, we found each other. I was saying, I don't know how much you heard, the Israeli Prime Minister saying they will go after Hamas leaders wherever they are. And my question was, does this leave Israel isolated in the region?
It feels like it, certainly in the region, although Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, he's been in Israel for talks. He's going to Doha in Qatar. to meet some Arab leaders again for talks. Doha, of course, is where Israel extended its operations and attacked Hamas leaders who were meeting there. And absolutely, Benjamin Netanyahu has said that, as he put it, the principle that terrorists should not have immunity wherever they are, wherever they may be, was not established by me, as he put it. So you can see how, going after the root and branch. But the isolationism, so far, although Marco Rubio has made some positive noises, Donald Trump has even suggested you've got to be careful when you bomb an ally, or as he put it, a great ally like Qatar. And the Spanish Prime Minister is now leading the call to have Israel excluded from all international sports competitions, the Eurovision Song Contest. And I'll ask the rhetorical question, does it ever work to isolate a country culturally, politically, and in sporting terms? Does that apply pressure and make them change what they're doing? I wonder.
Well, certainly for the population and the voters who put governments in place, it makes a difference. We in this country know all that well enough. Let's talk about a big problem for Americans of a particular faith.
Yeah, Sikh truck drivers in particular. Interestingly, in the United States, there are 750,000 Sikhs, and 150,000 of them work in the road haulage industry. It's quite a thing. But a month ago, a Sikh driver called Harjinder Singh, he made a U-turn on a highway in Florida. He crashed into a minivan and killed 3 people. Now, we already know that the Department of Homeland Security has some issues, and they've said that he entered the US illegally from Mexico. They say that he obtained a commercial driver's license illegally, and also that he'd failed an English proficiency exam. But there are 3 things that are now happening. Number one, the US Secretary of State, him again, Marco Rubio, he has now paused work visas for all foreigners looking to become commercial truck drivers in America. Number 2, he's retightening language requirements for all professional drivers in the United States. And number 3, as now reported widely, there's been an upsurge in harassment and abuse of Sikh truck drivers and the Sikh community generally. Yeah, oh boy.
We've seen this movie before, haven't we? Now, Adam, can you imagine being so gripped by fear or trauma that you stop doing something you once really did without thinking?
Yeah, it's a thing, all right. And for Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, famously, he was the guy, the survivor of the Air India plane crash in seat 11A. We'll always remember seat 11A, won't we? The only passenger to walk away from the crash in June. It was only June, 3 months ago or so. 260 other people died. Now, soon after, his wife Hiral and 4-year-old son flew out to India to join him in Ahmedabad. Their family home is back here in the UK in Leicester. And now his brother-in-law is saying, well, wife and son have come back to the UK without Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, that he's too traumatized to fly again. He simply cannot mentally step foot on a plane. And I mean, it's quite, you can imagine the trauma. It's quite a thing. So just looking at the options to him, well, land repatriation to the UK is almost impossible because you have to go via Russia or Iran or Afghanistan or all of those. So could he possibly do a 6-week sea journey, maybe via South Africa to get back to the UK? Do you know what? If you were his wife, you'd probably be telling him you have to do that. But at this stage, poor chap, he's kind of internalized everything and is not going anywhere.
I wonder if you can still get on a boat ride from India to the UK, Adam. How much has the world changed?
I'm assuming.
Eh? Yeah, I'm assuming too. That's this morning's Worldview with Adam Gilchrist.
EWN Business.
All right, it looks like, Mutero, the US and China are close to securing TikTok's future.
Yeah, the US and China have reached what they call a framework deal for TikTok. US Chief Negotiator and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced the agreement at the closed trade negotiations in Madrid, Spain. Also on the table is tariffs as well as trade between the two countries. The Trump administration had issued a September 17 deadline for ByteDance, the owners of TikTok, to either divest the platform's business from the US or have it potentially shut down. Now, President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping will meet on Friday to discuss the finer details. The United States has 136 million active TikTok users, making them the platform's leading market. In April 2024, under then President Joe Biden, the White House signed a law formally banning TikTok unless it sold its U.S. operations.
And how many of us around the world are using American-owned social media apps? But they're not spying on us
Untouched.
at all. No. Our inflation forecasts are looking pretty positive for the moment, Mateo.
Yeah, big week for interest rates in the country. The SARB due to announce on the latest interest rates on the 18th of September. Meantime, the Bureau for Economic Research says long-term inflation forecasts are now lower in the country. Its inflation expectations survey for the third quarter of 2025 shows that predictions for price fluctuations have dropped to an average of 4.2%. Now, both the 1-year and 5-year forward expectations are now at 4.2%. That's around the mid-range of the target range for the South African Reserve Bank. So it is imagined that this week we might be lucky to get an interest rate cut.
Does that mean the rand is low?
No, it's quite high. In a strong position, 17 Rand 33 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 41 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 60 cents against the British pound. The price of gold, $3,683 an ounce, or platinum is lower by 0.5% at $1,402. Brent crude at $67.48 a barrel. More business this afternoon.
Let's talk students and financial aid. Good morning, Bali Dlamini.
Thanks, Bongani. A very good morning. The National Student Financial Aid Scheme says it does not want to see any students sleeping in libraries in the next academic year. Acting CEO Wassem Karim says in the past, students funded by the scheme have had issues securing accommodation despite being funded due to admin errors. He's assured students that they will be placed and housed within hours of arriving on campus next year. Karim was speaking at a media briefing yesterday about the state of readiness for the 2026 academic year. Acting NSFAS CEO Wassem Karim.
And we've set in place a planning process to make sure that we have sufficient student accommodation at each institution of higher learning, so that we are not confronted with this annual crisis where students arrive at campus, they have no place to stay, they're sleeping in libraries.
The DA in KZN has urged political parties in the province to take a stance against political violence in the lead up to next year's elections. KZN has a history of political violence which has claimed the lives of politicians as well as traditional leaders. The party lost its Mngeni local municipality chief Ndlalayenze Ndlovu through political violence in 2023. DA KZN leader Francois Rogers says parties must fight to ensure next year's polls are without incident.
We need to be bold, we need to be brave. We no longer have a party that's supremely dominant in the province, and therefore all role players, particularly in the government of provincial unity, need to play an active role in circumventing any potential violence running up to the election.
Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says more than 40,000 work opportunities were created via the expanded public works program in Cape Town in the last financial year. Hill-Lewis hosted the Cape Town leg of the EPWP listening tour along with Public Works Minister Dean McPherson and Duffelsig Mitchell's Plain yesterday. The nationwide tour provides a platform for government to engage with communities about their experiences with the program. Carlo Peterson has more.
Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson says national government intends using Cape Town as the blueprint for the future of the EPWP. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says in the last financial year, more than 40,000 work opportunities were created via the EPWP in Cape Town, with more than 1,000 of those workers becoming permanent City of Cape Town staff.
Our EPWP staff get actually proper training and skills upgrading, and they can graduate with a certificate at the end of it, and in fact we try and push them into our bursary program as well, so we sponsor them to go and do further studies.
McPherson says Cape Town is a step ahead of what government intends achieving with the EPWP nationally. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And in Zambia, 2 men have been sentenced to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hakainde Hichilema. They have been convicted under the Witchcraft Act after being arrested in December last year. They were caught with charms in their possession, including a live chameleon. This was the first time anyone was put on trial in Zambia for attempting to use witchcraft against a president. During the case, the prosecution argued that the men were hired by a fugitive former MP to bewitch Hichilema. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 9 and 14 degrees and highs of between 28 and 33.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Deep Kloof Interchange and Albertina Sisulu Road. This is due to a major accident that happened along this route, causing about a 40-minute hold-up. And if you're traveling along the R21 North, we've got another accident seen in the Kempton Park area. It happened after Atlas Road, causing delays.
The top story in EWN, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, says it does not want to see any students sleeping in libraries in the next academic year.
My guy, tell me how date night was.
Bro, I'm telling you, my arrival was too clean. That sporty exterior, the 1.5 turbo engine, just turns heads.
But what about date night?
Yeah, it was chilled. But the Jolly On Pro, it's on another level, bro.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Jolly On Pro from only $4,299 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. And as Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSB and registered credit provider.
Every wall tells a story. Now yours can be told with elegance, resilience and colors designed to last. A creation rooted in heritage, perfected for today. The wait is over. The finest has arrived. Discover the finest, only at Chamberlain. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
For the bottles on your table to the glass that's recycled and reborn, Isanti Glass is proving sustainability can shine. So on Thursday, 702 Drive with John Perlman will be in conversation with Isanti Glass as we unpack how they are redefining glass manufacturing and making a real impact in communities. We'll explore how Isanti Glass champions innovation, empowers local industries, and supports a circular economy through recycling and sustainable practices. Don't miss 702 Drive with John Perlman this Thursday in conversation with Isanti Glass from 3 to 6 p.m. only on 702.
702. WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Bongani, good morning, and also morning to your listeners. Just referring to what Mabona has said from the Department of Education. What he said is these people tend to invalidate their actions, invalidate everything they are saying. He will stand in defense of the actions and the decisions they have taken. You will just see as the process unfolds, there will be loopholes, so many of them, because I do not really carry the story that there could be fairness from their side after they have found to be so much in one thing.
Morning, Bongos. You know, it baffles one's mind to think of these departments of government that are ANC-led to be moving away from their core function. What's their core function really? Because most of the time it's all about tenders. And they know exactly what they're doing. They can't be coming on radio defending all these things over and over again, that there were boss processes that they could have followed. These are predetermined, these meetings that they have, Gobo Wimpy, from time to time, morning, evening, in the wee hours of the morning. It's all about tenders. It's not about their core function. Hey, it's so gross. Trouble here.
Look, if you're going to give a bid for a tender and you don't have the evaluation documents or all of them, right? Maybe you can provide the adjudication, but not the evaluation documents. If there's some part of the process that you can't account for, what questions might that leave in the mind of the public? There's this perception that 702 presenters have to fight with everyone. Sometimes you've just got to ask the person, and what did you do? Oh, okay. And leave it to 702 landers to decide.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, we're also talking about those things you didn't get to do in 2020 when we were locked down. Because 2020 was one of those vision board years, right? Because it was like 2020 vision, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Muteo says he missed the Champions League final, and he was living in Turkey at the time.
Oh, gosh.
And it's still on his bucket list. Is there anything you didn't do in 2020 that you've either subsequently done or would still like to do?
So now this is a deep conversation, right? Because when you start with 2020, you start with what people missed, and it's always going to be really, really hard for a lot of people. Because I actually got reminded the other day, a lot of kids didn't have their matric dance. They never got to go to their matric dance.
So listen, we just had a voice note from a mom who was so happy.
Oh, that's it. Thank goodness.
She says, because it's so expensive.
For shame, those kids. But for me, it was actually also a very, very emotional one because I had booked to go on a holiday with my parents to go to Madeira. That's where my dad was born in 2020. And we were going to go in the August. It was all exciting and whatever. And growing up, they never had the money to take us there. And he wanted to show us where he had grown up, etc. So my husband and I said, right, like our next trip's going to be Madeira, right?
Yeah.
And then 2020 happened and we didn't go. And then he died the following year. So I never went to go with him. And then I went in 2022 or 2023.
Yeah. And could you still see it through his eyes? Were there places that you thought, oh.
No, you know what? I would have preferred to have had him there to experience it because I know he would have been a lot more proud of it. And he grew up in a very rural area and there's not much around there. So I know if I had gone to the house on the holiday, he would have called everybody from the village to come see me, and there would have been a braai and plastic chairs and out on a patio, etc. So I do think there are a lot of people who have a lot of
unfinished business.
But it's everything for a reason. I believe in life, everything for a reason, which is great. But it was a really, really tough one. It was.
I can imagine. But I will tell you one thing. I'm pretty sure he was always proud.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah,
no, 1,000%.
Absolutely.
Devastated when I changed my name on radio. I'm joking.
As dads might.
Right.
Will we be proud? Will we be proud of the Proteas women?
I hope so. Look, the Women's Cricket World Cup starts in India on the 30th of September. So they're playing Pakistan in 3 ODIs. That starts today. So this is great preparation. And I think let's not get too caught up in what happens in this series in terms of results and more about performance. But here's Captain Laura Wolfart.
Obviously, we feel really well looked after from a security point of view as well, which has been awesome. Hotel's been nice, food's been good, no complaints at all. Just looking forward to playing some good cricket. It looks like a really nice place to play cricket. Nice conditions, looks like a good wicket for our Southfield. So yeah, I'm excited.
Kaizer Chiefs and Sekhukhune both have a chance to go top of the Betway Premiership tonight. Defender Zita Kwanika on what makes Sekhukhune so good.
I think that one of the good teams in the league, we respect that, taking into account, as you mentioned, the experience they have, the quality players they have. It's upon us also to take it. For us to do well, it's for us to compete with such players, such individuals, people who've been in the league. So it's a good chance for us to really show that we are up for this.
Kick-off is 7:30 at the bottom of the table. The two bottom sides, Auburn and Chippa, go head-to-head. The other game, Durban City against Sibelele. First round of the UEFA Champions League kicks off at 6:45 tonight. Eindhoven against St. Gilloise and Arsenal are away at Athletic Club. Then at 9, Benfica battle Quarabach. Juventus entertain Dortmund. Real Madrid are hosting Marseille. Spurs welcome Villarreal. At the World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, still no medals for Team South Africa. Today, Zakiti Nene and Live Pile compete in the men's 400-meter semi-final. While the men's pole vault last night, Armand Duplantis set another world record, clearing 6.30 meters. The 14th time he's broken his own record and the third consecutive time he's won world champs. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Mzansi, 133 million rand in total guaranteed Powerball and Powerball Plus jackpots could change your life. That's right. Play Powerball for a guaranteed 70 million rand and Powerball Plus for a guaranteed 63 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store, online at nationallottery.co.za, on the mobile app, via cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda, Pusha, Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time, medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality and sustainability with Africa at the center. Tune in this Thursday between 6 and 9 a.m. for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB. In fact, that's on Friday between 6 and 9 a.m. Proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. The latest news, views, insights and breakthroughs, the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB.
EWN Traffic.
Last update for the morning on breakfast, at least. Amo?
Well, Bongani, I guess it will be challenging to drive around the Soweto as well as Pennyville areas this morning due to that major accident seen along the N1 North that happened near the Albertina Sisulu Road off-ramp, causing heavy traffic volumes from the Deep Kloof interchange. About a 30-minute hold-up at this particular moment. The N17 is also backed up as a result of this accident. If you are traveling in Boksburg, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Atlas Road and the N12 R21 exit. This is due to an accident, so please be on the lookout there. And another accident seen in Kempton Park on the R21 North near the R25, slowing down traffic coming out of Pomona Road. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Did you know the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East, within the knowledge hub and science diplomacy capital, the city of Tshwane, this fit-for-purpose convention center is ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csir.co.za. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
Naked people never skip leg day because naked people spend less time on insurance admin and more time at the gym. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
702 and corporates that care with Netcare are talking about Netcare's My Walk Made with Soul initiative.
This was an initiative that began in 2015, and a lady by the name of Delani Bezadenhout visited us and said, look, I hear Netcare is very involved in sustainability initiatives. Would you be interested in recycling your intravenous drip bags because they're made of a toxic material called PVC? And in passing, she said to me, possibly we could also make shoes. My appeal is that we've handed out 328,000 pairs of shoes. And so my appeal is for South Africans to get together and come onto our website, mywalk.org.za, and donate the cost of a cappuccino. Maybe you can donate 10 shoes.
Netcare, helping future leaders step into greatness. Visit mywalk.org.za to learn more. 7:02. Let's walk the talk.
Coming up
On the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Of course, the Clement Manyatela Show is between 9 and 12. So, Kemzozo, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I've been traveling and a little bit out of the country, out of town. Did Kenny Kunene get cleared in that internal investigation?
That robust, transparent internal investigation.
Tough one.
No, we actually checked with them last week, Friday, if not Thursday, because we wanted to speak to them about, because they promised us a month, remember?
Yes.
They put a timeline. They said a month, and they said, no, we will tell you when that thing is done. But has it even started? We asked, who is the company that investigates?
Because now, Eyewitness News is running a story that he's the mayoral candidate for the PA for next year in Joburg.
So is he already put there before he is even cleared of anything?
Okay.
Welcome to South Africa.
Asking for a
Welcome
friend.
back to South Africa, my friend.
What's on the show?
Coming up on the show, we're going to talk about what President Cyril Ramaphosa said yesterday. Did he lie? And also, the president needs to decide, is he a politician or not? Because if you're a politician, you have to play the game. And you have to say things that are also politically smart and advance your political experience.
Imagine we got on air and told listeners another station was better.
Are you kidding me? So you need to decide.
That other breakfast show host. That other breakfast show is better.
Yeah, like Bongani, learn from that person. No, come on. So I get confused about whether the president wants to be a politician or not. I'll make my case on the open line and hear what the other listeners think. But I don't think he lied. I mean, nobody can argue that DA-run municipalities are the best run. Most of them, based on the reports that we've seen, even from the AG. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to bring in Mzwandile Masina, who is in the ANC portfolio subcommittee on local government. We're going to bring in some analysts as well as we look at what the ANC is trying to do with this roll call. At 11 o'clock, we do our World of Work feature today. We are looking at what the law says about retrenchments and what your rights are when it comes to that. And then 11:30, we do our health and wellness feature. Today, we're discussing meditation for beginners, and we're going to be looking at the benefits of that too.
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays
12 to 1.
What is the status of recovering that debt and the impact on maintaining loans going into 2026?
One of the things that we are going to have to do is to strengthen our capacity to collect that money. But we just have to make a public plea that if you know that you've been financed by the NSFAS or TAFSA, the people who've been funded since 1996, and you are working now, please commit to pay back some of the money.
Buti Manamela.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Now, some insurers promise savings. With OUTsurance, you are guaranteed to get something out. Get a quote, and if OUTsurance can't beat your car insurance premium, you can ask them for 500 Rand cash. Make it 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. So savings or cash, you always get something out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 750 gram, 780 gram, 850 gram Nola mayonnaise, excluding squeeze bottle, for 38.99. Save 6 Rand with Spar Rewards, or 2-liter Spar full cream or low-fat ultra-pasteurized milk for 32.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
One of the things I'm proud of as the host of this show is being able to admit it when I get it wrong. I remember there was a news story some years ago, the Nelson Mandela house, where he walked and where he slept. This was going to be turned into a hotel. Sacrilege, thought I. Blasphemy. Until I was invited to go and experience the Sanctuary Mandela myself. This space that is at once heritage, that is legacy, that is history, now being available to all South Africans. This is where heritage now meets hospitality, from boutique stays to heritage tours to even jazz nights. I think Nothemba Maduma hosted the most fantastic evening there at the end of last year. And it's just one of those spaces that honors Mandela's living legacy. And so this Heritage Month, we thought we'd bring in Jerry Mabena, the CEO of Mutsamai Tourism Group, which of course manages this unique destination. Thank you for popping in, firstly.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners.
I'm going to ask you to just come a little closer to the microphone so we can hear that deep voice of yours a little bit better. Let's start at the heart of all of this. What is Sanctuary Mandela? And do other people, like I did, get it wrong if they haven't been there?
I think yes, and it's a living legacy space. It's a place that celebrates the life and times of Nelson Mandela. He lived there from 1992 to 98. And I think what we try to capture is not just a hotel, but a place of reflection. I think that's probably what we want to see it as. And a place that celebrates his life and time in different forms. I think to tell the story of his life and you can never tell the story of his life in one sitting. I mean, the man has an amazing life. And in the food that we provide and in the things that he enjoyed, including music, which was one of his loves.
Is there an aspect of the house, I'll ask you to answer the question and I'll give you mine, but is there an aspect of the house that moves people a lot more than they expect?
There's two rooms. The boardroom comrade, because it's got those letters that he wrote. I think when they engage with it, it's a very intimate, private moment. And the room where he slept.
Yeah.
I've had guests who say that I can't sleep there.
Yeah. I've stood there, and of course, to be clear, it's a very different space from when he slept in it.
Yep.
But nonetheless, there is a sense of something
the aura is there,
hallowed, right? That aura that you talk about. The food, of course, was also a big feature of his life, and some of the people who were his chefs are still at Sanctuary Mandela.
Mam Xoli has been with us here for a long time, and she played a big role, I think, to get us to where we are in celebrating the food that he ate. And of course, being a 5-star hotel, we give it also in interpretations. We've got young chefs who also bring in their own dynamism into the food structure, and that has worked very well for us. Yeah.
We spoke about a living legacy. What do you want people to know about Sanctuary Mandela, and who do you want to come?
If I had it my way, I think every South African should at least walk through once in their life. We called it a sanctuary deliberately because we wanted it to be a place where people come and reflect, come and think. We've got very natural gardens, I mean, as you might know, and we get a lot of people who come in. It's a quiet space. You know, come and sit there, come and work there. Wi-Fi is great, and really for me, it's a place that's open to everyone.
Because obviously there are those who will stay. I know you've hosted even international visitors you've used it as a conference space, but it's also the kind of place you could have a corporate lunch, for example.
We have a lot of those.
Of those people come in and then
conferencing,
they just book, and they book the facilities. Yeah. But there's some other fun, unexpected features, right? Like, I thought the Easter eggs was a particularly interesting aspect. Tell me about that.
You've got to do that. I think you've got to bring in the element of children as well. I think Mandela loved children. So you've got to do a little bit of some of those things that actually celebrates the kids and kind of bring them into the space. And I really wish that more kids would come through the space. But unfortunately, being the type of institution that it is, it doesn't provide us with that flexibility. But my wish would have been that every child just kind of see where Mandela walked, lived, and played. You know?
We are, of course, in many senses, having this conversation because it's all about contributing to Johannesburg's tourism landscape and obviously supporting local communities. And that's what Sanctuary Mandela does.
Indeed. I mean, if you come there, you'll see that a lot of the people who will welcome you are very, very young people. And we're very proud of the team that works there. I mean, when they say welcome home, for me, it's young people welcoming you to Sanctuary Mandela and to Johannesburg.
So if you're looking for your next venue for a corporate lunch, a conference, maybe you've got international guests of renown and you want a unique but boutique space for them to stay, look no further than Sanctuary Mandela. Appreciate your time.
We would like to welcome you home. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, I want to come. I've been there.
Please,
I'll
welcome.
come again.
You're welcome again.
All right. CEO Jerry Mabena of Mutsamai Tourism Group telling us about this unique destination.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And that brings us to the end of the program. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. Let's begin in KZN, where the Transport Department has confirmed the arrest of a scholar transport driver who fled the scene of a crash in Impendle yesterday. The crash left at least 20 learners injured. It's understood the driver